Please, the show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I not only see myself as this high value man, I put out those values. It's what I put out into the world, and I deserve. You know, he's setting standards. Now, it's not to say that I don't think he would. I don't think he would never. I'm just saying he has a preference. He has a standard, and that's what it is. And I don't think it was right that he was, in my opinion, vilified for it.
From others, it's I would say be a little bit more realistic about, you know, your approach to dating when you get out there, and you know, every single clips and podcast, you know, they may have super high standards that they can't meet themselves as far as who they're trying to attract.
We need to.
But then we're going to talk about the other side of it. Okay.
Oh, because there is another side.
Oh yeah.
Because it should have read my ex-wife.
Okay, if you're married to a woman and you know there's no drama between her and her baby father, like they aren't together. They just ain't together, and you know whatever it is, it didn't work out, and you know they do what they can for each other, and, you know, for the kid, and you know that's it. You know, at whatever level they can do that at, then probably it's easier for it to work. I'm up to it. I'm up to it. I'm up to it.
Are we
I'm
going
with it.
we
going there. I'm up to it.
We live. We live.
That's the show, Dada!
And now, your groomsman from Los Gatos, California at 5'10", hasn't recorded an assist since 2011, Joshua Smingy. From Pasadena, California at 5'10", don't throw him a bullet pass cause he won't catch it, Anton Sarver. From Chino Hills, California at 5'11", he averages one rolled ankle per game, Chris Bunger. And at best man, from Fountain Valley, California at 5'9", master of the no-look pass to absolutely no one, Ben Dang.
Are you a gynosexual? Men's Health magazine recently used the term gynosexual in an article. Now, when I first heard that term, I thought it meant people that are attracted to gynecologists. I was wrong. A gynosexual is a person that is sexually attracted to the gender identity of the femme-presenting person they are attracted to. I think that means people attracted to women, so straight men and lesbian women. Now, if you do use the term gynosexual, people will have no idea who you're attracted to, but they will know that you're an asshole.
Who cooks in a lesbian relationship?
Oh God, this shit again. Who?
No one. They both eat out.
I regret asking. 2 men broke into a pharmacy and stole all the Viagra. The police said to be on the lookout for hardened criminals.
They must have had a hard time escaping.
Bet.
Why did the Mexican throw his wife off the bridge?
Why?
Tequila!
That's racist. but kind of funny, so I'll let it pass.
Gracias.
Why does Batman only cover half of his face?
Oh, God, not the Batman jokes again.
It's for the police, so they'll know he's white.
Okay, calm down, Joker.
First question, 1 + 1. Yes.
Multiculturalism.
Well done, Simon. Next question, what is 3 × 3? Yes, Penelope.
Gender equality.
Very good, Penelope.
Is this a joke?
You think gender equality is a joke?
No, but isn't this a maths class?
Don't be so racist.
I just asked a question. I mean, it's a new method, but it could potentially save thousands of lives.
7. You used red pen.
What?
Red is considered offensive in many religions.
Why would you belittle everything down to a singular colour?
The marking process isn't over yet. Now, Penelope, you are female, so that's +1 privilege point.
I'm also bisexual.
+1. Simon, unfortunately, you're straight, white, and male.
And cisgendered.
Yes, so that's -4 privilege points. Finally, Sunshine.
I'm gay, I'm trans, I'm Asian, I'm overweight, I'm lower class, I'm unintelligent, unattractive, and I also got body odor. And I once watched a pigeon die.
Wonderful, Sunshine. That's 13 privilege points.
Let me see this. They've just written equality and drawn love hearts on a piece of paper.
He expressed himself, and it's beautiful.
He didn't even spell equality correctly.
Disney is testing a new freefall water ride. This ride would have a drop where the vehicle isn't attached to any track. It would likely be themed to the Titanic movie, which Disney owns. This would be one of the most thrilling rides at Disney World.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit?
You stand right there like that? On the bus, huh? I tried to get on the bus down there. That motherfucker ran around me. Oh. I ran up at this bus stop. He still tried to go around me. So now we gotta wait. Now we gonna have a face off. Man, let it ride, man. Fuck that. Fuck that. Because he not going nowhere. He can't hit me with the front of this bus. That's his job. Fuck that. No. I'm having an interview, y'all. He's having an interview. Don't starve. Make sure you no, first 48. Everything. You should only have 48. Everything. Facebook, Instagram, everything. Put it all on. All right. No. I'm in the interview. Fuck you.
Here we go.
I got the gun on my head and it's cause I deserve it.
Yeah. Now that's wild right there. 7'11". Who is 7'11"?
That's good. 7'11".
I don't know. Big Niger. I'm just like first of all,
7'11".
What are the parents like? What are the parents?
What is the likelihood you got a 7'11" child and your parents are only like 5 feet tall?
And where do you get your genes from?
There's a chance.
Like where do your gene pool or like your jeans?
No, I mean like your literal gene. Like, listen, I'm in jean shorts. Like, where do you get your genes from? Because you're 7'11". That means you're
super tall.
Oh, that's custom right there.
Yeah,
that's custom made.
I can promise you're not wearing a size 36 length.
Custom made, buddy. But now imagine you said 7'11". Imagine being 7'11" with a 34 waist.
That's what I'm saying. My man is probably a 34, 48.
I mean, because if he's a basketball player, you know what I'm saying? He's a little
slim.
fit.
He's going to be a slim guy.
Yeah, like that's wild. 7'11".
Yeah.
Dumb.
All right. Well, look.
7'7". I'm just saying.
True story. True story. That man basically is 8 feet tall. He's like Giant Gonzalez out here, man. Like, well, anyway, hey, welcome everybody, because that was just the tangent we were on in the pre-show.
We didn't even get through our intro. What are we doing?
We didn't do anything.
It caught me off guard. My bad.
That's how crazy of a night we're about to have, y'all. That's how crazy of a night we're about to have. So let's get the party started. So what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, assuming we can still call you that. Welcome back one more time. I mean, you know, it's funny. That's going to be a real thing. We're going to really talk about why it may not be that we can still call you that. We're going to talk about that later on too. But welcome again. Yeah, I'm still going to do it. Fuck you, we're going to do it. Welcome. It's Friday night. You're here with your Friday night delights, man. Get ready, pour a glass, talk some trash. Holla at us in the comments. What's good, Liz? How you doing? Welcome. Always a pleasure when you're around. What up with you?
Liz in the house.
You know what it is, man. We're going to get through these intros real quick, man. I am the great and terrible Trey. I'm the navigator for the night. Got a lot of things to take y'all through this evening, so get ready. Sit back, relax, roll something up, pour a glass, toss some trash, all that good stuff. I'm going to stop running my mouth, and we're going to get to the man of the hour, the Tower of Power. The man is over there at Morgan State University and making it happen. Too sweet to be sour over here. He's on my right on the screen, or my left, or however you... Some shit like that. But anyway, you know what time it is. The immovable force. Kev, what's good, bro? Welcome back again. Talk to us, my friend.
Good luck. So like, even though I wasn't here last week, I was here last week. You feel me? So you know, I came fresh off the stage, which I was on the stage last night. Again, shout out to my alma mater because we're loyal to it. So I've been, you know, in and out of Morgan doing this spoken word to close out the orientation programs, but we are back in full effect this Friday night and we feeling right. Already got a few drinks in my system, so hopefully you something like me. We are on full American honey whiskey, so we just taking shot after shot after shot. But I do have a mixed drink going, so it's American honey and Coke. We're gonna figure out what happens after that. I need a shot glass. I got orange juice. I don't know. We just gonna make stuff happen because that's what we're supposed to do. Get a good drink in your cup. Hopefully you got a good drink in your system. If the drink at your thing, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, roll one up, pop a gummy, do what you need to do. We just here to have a good time. You feel me? It's Friday night. Oh, shout out to me. All right, listen, no, I'm gonna take liberty for a second. So like the last 6 weeks has been like dumb wild. And my car got stolen on May 31st. It was supposed to go off for repairs and they hit me Wednesday. Like, your car is totaled because the people who stole it and committed armed robbery burned the engine out. So like I've been scrambling to find a new car and I got it today. 2022 Rogue, Nissan Rogue. So I got something that I can comfortably take my son around in, which is the most important thing to me. So we're going to celebrate the small victories. God is showing up in awesome ways, even in the midst of terrible circumstances. And that part I'm absolutely grateful for. So if nothing else, we're going to have a celebratory drink tonight because a lot of the frustration of this season is finding its way into victory. And I will take that all day, every day. So if nothing else, raise your glasses to that. And salute to everybody.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Salute. Good stuff, my friend. Good stuff. Always good to hear a positive testimony. And speaking of the positive testimonies, we have the inspirational K Rich coming through with another one for you. What's good, brother?
What's up, man? What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody is doing fine like wine and getting better with time, right? So welcome. I'm glad you guys could join us. I'm glad I could be here because I'm tired in the mug. Kev, man, it's awesome hearing that story. Well, it's awesome that you hearing the outcome, right? It's never awesome going through something like that, you know. But what I'm gonna talk about is actually something that you did is that you didn't just sit on it and wallow in it. You know, you took action and made some things happen. They said your car was totaled. You said, I'm about to get out here and get this new car, get it done. So proud of you for jumping on the gun, getting out there and getting that car because you got things to do, right? So one of the things that came to me, and this was back on, let me see, this was on the 13th, actually, is when I wrote it down in my phone, right? It hit me like sitting too long. At times we procrastinate. At times we sit on opportunities, things of that nature. Things come up, and we sit on it. We procrastinate. But there's no more sitting anymore, right? There's no more sitting. it's time to move. It's time to get things done. It's time to do something. It's time to, you might not even know how to get it done, but you need to move in that direction. Because if you just start moving in direction, you might fall a couple of times, get back up. You might fail, do it over. But the thing is, you're going to come across somebody that might add this. You might learn, right? What you should learn right after you've fallen or after you've made that failure. But you got to move. And in order to get to that success, in order to get to those things that you want, you got to move. You can't just stay sitting too long. So that's it, man. The message that I'm bringing to you tonight is you're sitting too long, you gotta move. All right, it's time to move. That's the message tonight. You gotta move. Right. So start your morning with your acclamations, all that positive energy. Stick to it. So whenever you start doing something, like stick to it. Don't just start and stop. Like stick to it. Start to build up that discipline in it, right? And then listen, it's gonna be like this. You're gonna be too soon old and too late smart, or right? You can start now where you're at, right? And that way you're not sitting back with all these regrets. Okay, don't be sitting back and say, I wish I could have did this, right? It's not too late, no matter your age, whether you're 30, 40, whatever it is. Hey, start now, because your future you is going to thank you. So let's go ahead and raise a glass to not staying still anymore, to moving. Let's get moving.
When I move, you
get moving.
Just like that. When I move, you move. Just like
Just
that.
like that.
Hell yeah.
Hey,
bring that back.
If you got greenery in your house, drop a leaf in the comments. All right, drop a leaf.
We're not judging
in the comments. We're not judging.
Yeah.
I'm not judging. I'm right here with y'all. I just want to know who my people are. I like to know who my people are.
I'm trying to figure out where to pull up to.
That's what I'm saying. So if that's you, just go ahead and drop a leaf emoji in the comments. I appreciate you. We love y'all. Yes, sir. There we go. We got one. I can always count on one. Right? I don't have to be self-conscious and feel like I'm doing this all by myself. Shout out to Liz. Hey, is there one? Is there another? Is there another? Nah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Glad to have everybody on, man. Welcome. We get live in the comments. So if this is your first time, first of all, hit that like and subscribe for me. If this is your first time here, especially if you like what we're about to start talking about. And also jump in the comments and holler at it. Oh, yes, there's another. We have another.
Yes, laughs and THC.
Yes. That's why I keep the glasses on, so you can't see how red my eyes are.
Oh man.
Yeah. Especially here in Maryland, where it is now legal.
Recreation.
Hey, funny thing about red eyes, man. I got it all throughout high school, right? Because in the spring, my eyes be bloodshot red, man. And
allergies, man.
My teachers used to look at me sideways. Shoot, even at work, man. When I first started the job that I got now, right? Man, the one guy, I was a contractor, but the one he was a supervisor. He's like, come here for a second. You listen. If I can't have fun, nobody can have fun. And I was like, hey, it's not even that. It's not even that.
He's a hater.
It gets crazy.
Yeah, he was definitely a hater.
He was truthful about it, I guess.
So now that it's legal in Maryland and DC, does he partake?
Listen, it's so again, even though it's legal, right? It's not federal, right? So
fair.
There's still that. So
I mean, they got cocaine in the White House, so
I was just about to say that.
I mean, you know.
Hey, look, not only do they have cocaine in the White House, not only did they have it in the White House, but they ended the investigation with no suspects.
Fingerprints.
Come on.
There's no fingerprints.
No fingerprint.
Come on.
How the bitch you don't got no fingerprints on a dime bag?
We're not going through this again because we already know.
They wore their gloves, man.
We already know what it is.
We know whose it is. We all know whose it is. Can we be honest?
Last week, Trey,
we don't know.
We don't know because there's no evidence. We can assume, but we don't know because there's no evidence. Remember last week, Trey?
We can assume who the media has portrayed who it might be because of certain things that have been said. But let's be real.
I mean,
we
really literally know that there is a cokehead who is the son of the president. What do you mean?
But we don't know because there's no fingerprints.
But there is evidence of him doing blow on a regular basis with prostitutes. Like there's pictures and video of that. Like, and then suddenly some cocaine ends up in the White House where his daddy be at, and we ain't got no suspects.
We can only assume.
True.
Because there's no evidence.
Assumption. It's only
right?
Oh, I think there's plenty of evidence. There's plenty of evidence. They just not telling us.
Told me last week, though. We can only assume.
You're right. But there is plenty of evidence. There is actual evidence. There's that what you saying last week was you suspect that there has been cocaine in the White House before, which there may or may not have been, but there's no evidence of it. There probably has been, but there's no evidence of it. In this case, there's evidence and proof. What do you mean?
But it's no fingerprint, but we don't know whose it is.
They're lying. They
so
got
to
fingerprints.
assume that it belongs to the cokehead son is still no evidence.
Yeah, that's not going to hold up in court.
Yeah, there won't be any evidence for a Democrat in office. That's for sure. That's for sure. Because guarantee you, if it was Donald Trump Jr., they would have manufactured some fingerprints. Guarantee you they would have made like they manufactured them 37 indictments. But that's a whole other conversation. Y'all not ready for that.
It is a whole other conversation when your family members are a part of your your cabinet or your they were actually working right with the president, right? They were actually on his staff, and then they go over to a certain country and then all of a sudden have a clothing deal. I mean, it just seems like wow, in the service of the people, you're setting up and actually doing business when you're not supposed to be. I mean, right in people's faces, and you call
the tape. Like the tape of Hunter Biden shaking down, like the shakedown tape where he's in there with his father. That one, that one.
So here's what we're doing. We're going back and forth because each side can present something. They all messed up.
Yeah, everything is wild. Everything is wild. That's all I got.
And that
they all messed up. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. All right, what we got next?
No proof that Donald Trump or his son do cocaine.
They got great lawyers.
No proof that either one of them do cocaine. But there is proof that the Bidens do. I'm just saying.
That the Bidens or Biden?
Well, at least one Biden for sure does cocaine. The other one's probably too busy touching little girls.
Well, one of them also grabbing his daughter by the pussy, but
hey.
Yeah.
One would actually have sex with his daughter.
He did say that. So he said his daughter's hot. That was a little weird. That's weird. But the bitches would let you grab him by the pussy though. The one he was talking about. All right. Anyway. The ones he was talking about would actually let you do it, Shout out to them. Happy endings. Okay, all right. So, in addition to cocaine being found at the White House, There was a small story, and Kevin and I were talking about it before the show, so we won't bring this up to everybody. There was the WNBA has, I believe, 3 of their higher caliber players that are interested in creating their own league. So my understanding of this league is it's not a spiteful league. It's another way to generate some revenue. I believe they're talking about doing 3-on-3 and potentially like a 1-on-1 kind of tournament thing or something like that. It's going to be in one central location. It's not going to be traveling and stuff like that, at least not in the beginning. And it's supposed to be a way to help the ladies earn more money without them having to go overseas, a la Brittany Griner, to get paid closer to what the men get paid here in the States. So what's your thought on that? Kev, let's start with you, a basketball guy.
I was going to say, can I jump in first? Because, you know, Kev.
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead. You got it.
He's going to drop all the freaking knowledge in there. All
right, fair enough.
I'm not privy. Like, I haven't researched all of this, so I'm going to just say that kind of sounds like what Ice Cube had going on. So I just wondered if they spoke to Ice Cube about his 3-on-3 that he had going on and whatnot. That's all I want to jump in and say real quick, because it sounds interesting, but I'm more curious as to like how really are they going to generate? Is this going to be like NBA Jam or something? Like I'm interested in hearing what Kev has to say. All right, Kev, and go.
Yeah, no. So I'm like, I think it's we got to take this one at face value, and that there are no ulterior motives to this. It's just WNBA players recognize, or at least I'll say there's a pocket of, because, you know, there are some who are like, yo, we just need equal pay without understanding the way that this process works. But I think that the ones who are like creating this opportunity are ones who realize that the WNBA just does not generate the revenue that's necessary for players to get what it is that they're looking for. And they also understand that, like, at the end of the day, we are American citizens, and the vast majority of these players do not want to have to go overseas to create an income or supplemental income or additional income to support their households and families, or even their own personal lifestyles. And so they're looking for another way to generate some revenue, and this is why they're creating this league in space. And again, it's not a spiteful one to the WNBA. It's not a shot at overseas. It just literally is what it is. It's another way to bring in some kind of income. So the fact that it's going to be in one place takes away some expenses that you would normally incur. If you've got to travel, you got to deal with travel expenses and all of those kinds of things. So, you know, and if you've got to like full teams and all of that, then you got to deal with trainers and coaches and blah, blah, blah. Like, I think this is just, you know, the 3-on-3, and the women who are on the teams will be like coaches of themselves and that kind of thing. And it's just an opportunity to see what this can turn into, for them to create some additional revenue and not have to go overseas to do it. What will always be hard is, for what it's worth, WNBA players who go overseas earn more money overseas than they do playing here in America. And it's because overseas they're adored. Like, those are like stellar athletes, top tiered. So they make more playing overseas than they do here in the United States, unless you're like literally in that top 10th of WNBA players. Then you see something a little different. So I'm going to appreciate this for what it is. It's just an opportunity for WNBA players to create revenue for themselves, being here in the States with their families, and we got to hope for the best for that.
I just hope they actually generate some revenue,
which is also fair.
Yeah, I mean, the question for me isn't their talent. The question for me is, are they going to actually be able to generate any money? Like, is their 3-on-3 tournament, like, what's going to be different in their 3-on-3 versus just the fact that you're watching 3-on-3? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going to be different that's going to set them apart? What's going to actually allow them to create the revenue streams that they're talking about?
So I honestly,
and what TV deal they're going to sign? Like, who's going to put that on their TV?
So that is probably the bigger question. But I mean, just in general, like, about what's going to be different, I honestly don't think. Well, I won't, because 3-on-3 is different than 5-on-5. So
for sure, yeah.
that you're like, I think that's a little more street, which could appeal to more of us because, of course, like then we're talking about if the ball hits the rim, then you got to take it back out to the 3-point line. And now we're like talking about Uno rules.
And
you know what I'm saying?
and
They're
one
like,
style. Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And one style, Uno rules, like, oh, nah, you think this is how it's supposed to be played, but like this is how we understand the game. You know what I'm saying? So like I think that creates a opportunity for it to have a little more intrigue than a 5-on-5 game. So like in that way, I think it can present a little bit of excitement. And if you get the very best of, because like, you know, I would say with the exception of maybe the Las Vegas Aces and the New York Liberty, teams are average at best. Las Vegas looks like an all-star team. So if you get the best 3 players from each team, that's a little more intriguing than watching them sub in a bench that ain't moving a needle. So there are opportunities here. It's just they gotta, they gotta do it the right way.
Yeah, I hope they. We gotta take a shot.
God.
Rich is on mute. We gotta take a shot.
God.
Rich is muted. God damn. All right, y'all. So for those again who are here for the very first time, whenever we have technical difficulties, we all got to take a shot. All right. So put your cups in the air in the comments
or drink from the
right,
bottle.
Go ahead, LB.
You're welcome, everyone. Take a shot. So listen, I think they have this is an awesome opportunity because here's what I'm thinking. They could take out a lot of these rules like the taunting. Let them taunt. Let them get in each other's face. Let them
that'll be different. That will help.
Let the court have power-up spots. You know what I'm saying? Let them have power-up spots. If you shoot
Power spots. This nigga been watching Space Jam.
I'm just saying, like power-up is in points, right? If you shooting like 40 feet, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if you shooting half court, whatever it is, right? I'm just saying let them have, some spots that you can be at, at a certain time, and you got 5 seconds to get a shot off to get 5 extra points or whatever it is. I think certain things like that would be more, exciting to watch. But I think the trash talk alone, I think if they let them play like we watching street ball or something. Of course, no fight and whatnot, but at least the trash talk, at least let them, no, not today or something, let them play. You know what I'm saying? So I think that'd be they got an opportunity here.
I'd love to see it.
Really depends on, but the one thing that's getting me is that this one location, if it is one location, this one location thing, how you gonna get butts and seats if you're counting on ticket sales? But if you're banking on getting like a TV deal to get more eyes on it through it being televised, then I mean, I'm trying to see what this how this is different. I'm trying to see what this is gonna be like.
It will probably be in streaming. I like,
Yeah, I can see that.
Because the most likely something like this is probably going to end up on like ESPN2 or beyond, but or back. Like it's not probably I doubt it's going to be a main ESPN thing unless they get to like a championship round, and then that might find its. But the revenue is probably going to be in streaming.
Well, yeah, because you're right. Because I mean, I'm looking at. I just pulled it up. It looks like it's going to be on the winter off season, right?
Yeah. It's not a bad time either. That's going to be what, like January, February-ish, like around then, like when the NBA is still kind of.
But damn, the NFL though be jumping at that point.
Yeah, NFL's, but I mean, the NFL
it's probably
going to
come in
like a week or 2 days a week.
It's probably going to come in like right as the playoffs are finishing, the Super Bowl, and then once they get into their meat, like once I'm thinking that how they do it is.
I'm sorry. You can't say meat without a giggity. I just, okay, we're drinking. Oh.
Once they get into their the meat gets into all right. Anyway, listen, but you know what I'm saying, right? Once it gets into the thick of it, I mean, once we
reach that point,
Yes. Once we reach that point, all right, I think that Super Bowl will be over. They'll be, well into, their season. Okay. And we'll see what happens once it comes up. There we go. All right. Next topic.
When it rises.
When it rises. Yeah.
Oh Lord, I'm gonna leave that there. But yeah, that'd be interesting. I honestly, I hope that it works out and it does generate the buzz that I think it could. I think, like you said, the rules have to change. I think you got to let them talk some trash. It's got to be more of an entertainment value. But it has to be an entertainment value. And I think they could start the season All-Star Weekend, NBA All-Star Weekend. That could be like the intro to their, the thing that could be part of the weekend. They could have the, latest 3-on-3 tournament or something like that. Get top 4 teams or something like that. Do a little mini tournament just to introduce it. Field tested, if you will. So
yeah, I mean the NBA is doing an in-season tournament this year. So
yeah.
What?
Why not?
Oh, okay.
I'll be interested to see how it works. So, no, speaking of the NBA, though, all right, we gotta show y'all this. I gotta show y'all this, and then because Kevin Durant got fried. And I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm just show it to y'all, and here we go. Get ready for this one. It got real wild.
Yesterday, Kevin Durant said that I was a trash comedian.
I'm like, what he say fuck me for?
Dad, bro, why you get personal? I ain't talking about that monstrosity sitting on top of your head. I kept it basketball. You said that offense wins championships instead of defense winning championships, and I disagreed. I said it's probably the thinking that you have is why you haven't got close to competing for a title since leaving Golden State. Because during Golden State's run, they had a top 3 defensive efficiency. That's a fact. Since defense isn't as important, explain this to me, Eddie Kane Jr. In the modern era of basketball, the Hall of Famers with the most titles, Kareem, Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, Kobe, Tim Duncan. They have at minimum 8 all-defensive selections. Not a bunch of scoring titles between all of them. All have a significant amount of all-defense selections. You know what Kevin Durant has never had? I know you're thinking waves, and you're right. But Kevin Durant has never had an all-defensive selection. The funny thing is, the only team that has had a bad defensive efficiency and still won the title is the 01 Lakers. And they had Kobe and Shaq. And ironically, both of them were all defensive selections that year. So even when there's a bad team defense, you still need your best players to be top tier on the defensive end. But I'll do you one better. You know who put an end to that Lakers dynasty? The Detroit Pistons. Our only Hall of Famer on the team is Ben Wallace, who averaged a whopping 6 points a game through his career. Defense. But I wouldn't expect you to know anything about defense, Kevin Durant, because playing defense takes heart. And after you joined the Golden State Warriors, after losing a 3-1 lead to them, we all knew you didn't have heart. Instead of wanting to run it back, you went ahead and joined the team that knocked you out of the playoffs. But my question is, why would you join them if scoring is what wins championships? Because you were the leading scorer in the league the year before that, and Russ, your teammate, won the scoring title the year after. You, the 2 best scoring dudes in the entire league was on the same team. Why would you leave? And even though you were supposed to be the best scorer in the league, you were up 3-1. And what did you do in Game 5? You went 12 of 31 from the field. What did you do in Game 6? You went 10 of 31 from the field. So either the Warriors locked y'all up defensively to get past you, which would make defense more important, or you're a choke artist. Which one is it? Which one is it? And then you have the nerve to name yourself Easy Money Sniper. You know what a sniper is? A killer. You know what a sniper is? Accurate. Those are 2 things you are not whenever a team is dependent on you to carry them to victory. You miss everything. That's why it makes sense that you went over to Golden State. They had already shown that they were killers and that they were winners. See, you only look like a killer whenever other killers are already in the room with you. You're like not a sniper. You're the dude with the pea shooter. You just add a little bit on top, like the nigga in Harlem Nights. See, in the game of basketball, when a team's best player gets hurt, the team suffers tremendously. When you got hurt in the playoffs when you was with Golden State, they still won the Western Conference Finals. They still went on to the finals. And if Klay Thompson didn't get hurt, they probably would have won without you, which is what Draymond told you to your face when y'all were arguing, that they were winning before you and they'll win after you. And you left Golden State after that. And what they do? Won without you because they didn't need a pea shooter. See, Kevin, you're just a scorer. And not only are you a scorer, you're a scorer who doesn't score whenever your team needs you to score the most. See, if offense was what it took, then Mike D'Antoni would have several rings. That Phoenix Suns offense was the best offense I've ever seen in my life. They got Steve Nash 2 MVPs. That's twice as many as you, by the way, Kevin. Why doesn't Steve Nash have a ring? He doesn't even have a finals appearance. But you believe that offense is the way to go. So when you left Golden State, you went over to the Nets and you had them hire Steve Nash as your coach. You're the best scorer. He was on the best offensive scoring team of all time. All this offense, you added, you know what I mean, James Harden, and you added Kyrie Irving. So much offense. Why you get swept in the first round of the playoffs to the defensive-minded Celtics? Mr. Offense, explain it to me. Explain it to me. The only thing in that series that was more abysmal than the aerial view of your scout was your shooting percentage in that series. But even though I've given you all these facts, you probably still disagree with me because you're an idiot that doesn't care anything about facts. So you're going to continue to stack your Phoenix Suns team with a bunch of scores. I suggest all you scoring niggas focus on the defensive end because your scoring is good enough that you're going to score anyway. That's how you win a title. But go ahead, try to outscore everybody. And you and your cradle cap will be sent home again in the playoffs. Today, Kevin Durant said that I was a trash comedian.
I'm like, what did he say fuck me for?
Dad, bro, why you get personal? I ain't talking about that monstrosity sitting on top of your head. I kept it basketball. You said that offense wins championships instead of defense winning championships, and I disagreed. I said it's probably the thinking that you have is why you haven't.
The part that I wanted to show again is that the main crux of this is Kevin Durant apparently said that offense wins championships. All right. And then subsequently said that Ryan Davis was a trash comedian, to which case Ryan Davis pulled out receipt after receipt after receipt after receipt after receipt. So we were talking a little bit about this earlier in backstage. Rich, you want to jump in on this one first, or you want to let Kev go?
So okay. So we were talking backstage, right? And I was just saying that, you know, I don't agree with Kevin Durant when he says offense wins championships. Okay, I don't totally agree. Of course, you got to have some offense, but you got to have that defense there to stop a player. Because if you're going shot for shot with a player, you're just banking on the other player to miss shots. But if somebody on that other team has 3 defensive players that can stop, you know, they could double team. Like if Kevin Durant is if you're counting on him, right, to be that shot maker, right, but they got 3 other defensive players and they double team Kevin Durant, right? That means even if he passes the ball, they still got another stopper that can stop the person he passes to. To say, you know, you're banking on that back and forth in the other team to make a mistake, and hey, that does happen because these teams, these guys are that good that you're really like you're banking on the mistake to capitalize on that. You know, I just don't agree because I've seen time after time defense has won championships in multiple sports. Defense wins championships. I'm not saying that Kevin Durant is not a defensive player, all right? But backstage, I was saying I don't think that he cares as much about defense to become that dual player, to become that offensive and defensive player at a higher level, defensive wise. And Kev had something to say,
that for me, I've watched Kevin Durant play, and he is a defender. And I so we talk, of course, for all NBA teams, all NBA offense, you get 3 teams. All NBA defense, you get 2 teams. So you either first team all defense or second team all defense. That's 10 players. There are 450 players in the league. So if you are the number 11 defender, people might not think you're a defender because you're number 11 and didn't make the all defensive teams. I would venture to say Kevin Durant is a top 30, top 40 defender if you watching the games. So he defends well. It's just his offensive game is literally so prolific that people miss the fact that he plays on the defensive end and undersized, because yes, he's tall, but Kevin Durant is lanky in the same way that Chet Holmgren is lanky, in the same way that Victor Wembanyama is lanky. They are tall, but they are lanky. But Kevin Durant will defend the rim if he has to, will defend on the perimeter if he has to. So I would put him in the top 40, maybe top 50 out of 450 players that are in the league, and a few more because, people get injured and they call more people up. So I don't want us to lose that. Kevin Durant wholeheartedly understands that defense wins championships. What he's saying is, in this era of basketball, you have to have a high level of offensive game. What was so cumbersome to my Miami Heat is we could not put the ball in the basket, and we could play defense all day. But Denver was bound to whoop our ass simply because Nikola Jokic could give you 30, 15, and 15. And Jamal Murray could light you up for 35 and 5. You had people who could put the ball in a basket, and we were struggling to do that. So it didn't matter how good defensively the Miami Heat were. If they could not put the ball in the basket, you weren't going to get to that point. You can shut teams down all day, every day. You can force them to take bad shots, whatever the case may be. But we missed the offensive part. So I get Kevin Durant's take that it takes offense to win a championship. Defense is necessary to get them stops. But as free as the game is right now, even though it slows down a bit in the playoffs, it's still much more free than it was in the 90s and even the early 2000s. So you have to have that offense to win championship.
What I'll say is they can't win if they can't score. Right? So, that's always been my mentality. They can't win if they can't score. There's very little defense being played in the league. Do we know offhand I know Miami was a top-ranked defensive team. We know what the top-ranked defensive teams in the NBA were last season?
Boston. The Boston Celtics.
Definitely Boston. It had to be Boston, probably
Milwaukee,
Golden State.
Actually, Golden State wasn't a top this year. They struggled a lot because they couldn't win games on the road. Right. It was the Boston Celtics, the Milwaukee Bucks, I don't even think it was the Denver Nuggets.
It was the Cleveland Cavaliers were number 1 this year, apparently.
Yeah. A lot of East teams were more defensive, and a lot of West teams put the ball in the basket.
Yeah. Denver was middle of the road. They actually had a worse defense than Brooklyn or Philly or Phoenix for that matter. The idea is that while yes, you do have to be able to score points, you also got to be able to stop people, and you got to be able to grab rebounds. And those fundamentals are still there. If Brian Davis made this point, if offense alone was going to be good enough to win a championship, then Mike D'Antoni would have at least one. The Phoenix Suns of that era would have had at least one.
Well,
because they had, and to be honest, even the Warriors, who were lights out on offense, they also killed you or crushed you on defense, and that's really that's really what the magic for them was.
But I'll say for those two, people missed it. That the Warriors, you look at the Warriors and you think 3-point shot. The Warriors were smart offense. Houston
Yeah.
was jack it up. So like
Yeah.
that's what and even Phoenix when D'Antoni was there, they missed it because it was like, oh, we've got a 7-second offense, but it was jack it up. Golden
Yeah.
State was how can we get the best shot? Like
Jack
we
it up for
make it
7 seconds.
yeah, we make it look like it's jacking up. How can we get
WNBA.
you know what I'm saying? So like I think that's the reason why Houston wasn't successful. It wasn't that they could not have won with offense because they won a lot of games offensively. It's that at the most critical times they did not know how to stop being stupid.
Right.
If you missed,
yeah,
if you
talking about that game they missed like 20 something in a row,
yeah, like,
3-pointers or something.
after you miss the first 12, you should do something different. Whereas Golden State is like, damn, we shot 10 threes and missed. I'm a pump fake on this 3 and then drive to the basket. And like Steph was good about that. Clay was good about that. Andrew Wiggins was good about that. Even Draymond knew to create that. Like nobody in Houston said, oh, damn, we've missed 12 in a row. We should do something different. They just was like, well, if we miss 12, 13's going in. If we miss 17, 18's going in. That's just stupid.
Was D'Antoni the coach then too?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Right. So that's just, Marty Schottenheimer, like, that's just, yeah. Obviously, you got to play. You got to be smart. Steve Kerr, I would argue, is a smarter overall head coach than Mike D'Antoni. Obviously, he's got the championships to prove it. And also, an interesting stat before we move on, so we're not here all night. The Kevin Durant's 2 best defensive seasons were the seasons he was in Golden State. Subsequently, and also subsequently, the 2 seasons he has his championship. So his point isn't it doesn't go unsaid. Yes, obviously, clearly you have to score points, but also again, the 04 Pistons proved that you don't have to score a lot of points if you stop them from scoring. You know what I mean? And they shut down Kobe and Shaq.
But and I'm not taking anything away from the Pistons, and I'll say this and leave it here. Karl Malone was hurt. Shaq was hurt. Scotty was hurt.
Karl Malone was like 40.
But I'm saying, like, you still weren't getting of them. Everybody was hurt. Shaq was hurt. Karl was hurt. Scotty was hurt. Like, at points, it was just literally Gary Payton on the floor. Like, so I think if that Laker
not the
team
90s anymore.
Like, if that Laker team were fully intact, I think it would have looked vastly different.
Well, it certainly would. When did it sweep? Didn't they sweep them?
It was something wild like 4-1. It was but just that Lakers team it was never they all year long. They were just hampered by injuries. It never looked the same. And that's the stuff that Kobe and Shaq talked about in their interview. Like Shaq didn't take it seriously. He was like, I've been watching Kobe ball, so I'll just kind of play myself into shape and then hope for the best. Like they just it never really was what it was supposed to be.
Word. All right, fair enough. Reggie, look like you pulling up a stat.
Well, I was because I was trying to see the evolution of 3-point shooting, and like it's just a different. I feel like it was a different time back then where your defense, you knew pretty much like the big guys were going to drop to the hole or where the shots were going to be. You're defensively, nobody's going to stand like way beyond the arc and take those 3-point shots. Whereas now and today is, I think somebody said it in the comments. They said there's no defense being played in the league right now, but I think it is defense being played. It's just Bamas will pull up from almost anywhere.
And what do you do about that?
They practice that. They will pull up from anywhere, and the shots will go in. Like what do you do about it? So I think it's just you really the defense now has to. I mean, what do you play? You condition your body to play man all game? Like what do you do?
You really have
man all the way up the court.
Yeah, you got to pick them up at 94 feet.
Yeah,
it's
but
crazy.
we don't see a lot of that anymore. We don't see a lot of full court press or half court traps, or you don't see a lot of that anymore.
It's because they're hyper athletes. it don't, like it's a lot easier to break the press when you're like a speed demon.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. You got John Morant would break probably any press just on speed alone. Russell Westbrook back in the day.
De'Aaron Fox is the fastest player in the league.
Fox.
It's
his speed is sick. It's sickening.
So I'm at 94 feet because at 90 feet I'm 4 feet behind.
Yeah, off top. All right, we'll leave it there. Let's get ready for some fair or foul, man. We got a few things going on today. Just to kind of go through it real quick, we got the conversation about whether or not business is always personal, or is business personal? Is business just business, right? We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about whether or not it's harder dating a single man with children or a single woman with children. There's some feedback on that. We're going to give our take on that as well. We're going to talk about ice cream dates. Y'all remember the ice cream dates? Ice cream social, sit down and talk to them. Apparently those are childish. We're going to talk about that. But
come on, man.
We get into any of that.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, it's time. Oh yeah. But before we get into any of that, we're going to talk about what you saw in the title. That cisgendered apparently is not natural. Here we go.
All of you cisgender women, naturally born women who think that trans women
not naturally born again. Not naturally born. There's nothing about it is natural.
I told you I make mistakes.
Nothing about that is natural.
Okay, so what I'm saying is for women, what's the language I should say?
Assigned female at birth.
Okay, so for women who are assigned female at birth and stick to that,
and for whom that is consistent with how they identify,
and for whom that's a lot of words.
Stick with it.
Okay.
You are in a commitment for a stance. So
yes,
do the work.
Yes, ma'am.
Do the work.
Come on.
Teach me. Say it again.
Do the work.
Do it again.
For whom?
For whom?
It's consistent with how they identify.
Okay, so for women who were assigned female at birth and it's consistent with how they identify.
That's
right.
So.
Well, you heard it there, ladies and gentlemen. Assuming we can still call you that.
We're going to call you that.
All you cisgendered women for whom cis is a thing and you have naturally born vaginas. Y'all let us know in the comments, fair or foul, if y'all think that's fair or foul. All right. So, fellas, fair or foul? There's nothing natural about being a cisgendered woman.
Ooh, me.
Go ahead, brother.
There is nothing natural about being a cisgendered woman. You know why? Because cisgender is not a thing.
It's not a thing.
It's not a thing. We're not about to do this. Like a woman is a woman. We're not about to put prefixes and whatever in front of what has always been. A woman is a woman is a woman. Cancel us right now. I'm dying on this hill. Like I legitimately feel for women because they are the ones who are being attacked all day, every day. Like a woman who wakes up a woman who goes into the aisle and grabs her pads and pearls and all of whatever she can put into her parts to cover up the period that she gets once a month. That's the woman that I'm subscribing to. And we're like, so it's like everything else is foul because there's no such thing as a cisgendered woman. It's just woman. When God took woman from rib, he did not say, and now I give you So we're not about to do this.
I agree. Go ahead, Rich.
Listen. I mean, come on. This. Oh God, this is.
Hold on, wait, hold on. As everybody got to see this.
Because I mean it.
He's very serious about this.
I'm so listen. My man, he cowered in the video. Like, I gotta learn. I gotta get this right. How do I? What do I need to say? What do I need to do? What? With logic has gone way out there. We are living in the multiverse right now because this is crazy. This is crazy. We are listen. Here's the thing. I think some old guy said it on one of the videos we had like a while ago. It's like you can be who you want to be and believe whatever you want to believe. But the problem comes when you try to make me live in your reality. When you try to make me believe what you believe. There is fiction and there is fact. People are complicating this world, trying to be somebody by coming up with all these other different definitions and terms, right? Not even scientifically backed. This is what you think or what you made up, what you believe, not even scientifically backed.
Yeah.
What you feel.
Oh my God, right. What you feel. What you feel. I mean, come on. I felt like a billionaire the moment I got out of the womb. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why my mama named me Rich. Like
Bruno Mars said, today I don't feel like doing anything. Doesn't mean he didn't have to. He just didn't feel like it.
There are multiple days that everybody, all three of us, y'all out there watching us right now, those in the comments, y'all have at multiple points. I can guarantee it. And then what Denzel said, I guarantee it. Y'all felt like not going to work, right? But you got your butt up and you went. Listen,
basically.
Yeah, because you could not identify as a person who got paid for doing nothing.
I identify as my bills already have been paid.
Slope. It's such a slippery slope.
Go to court and identify as innocent, and let's see how that goes.
Yeah.
Run
all right. Hey, let's look at this really quick. What's going on, pretty girl? All right, for Pretty Girl's Guide. The cis part is just to identify people whose gender identity matches their assigned sex at birth. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, so here's everything that's wrong with that. Okay, here's everything that's wrong with that. The number one thing that's wrong with that is that you as a woman think that there's nothing wrong with that.
You know what?
Okay.
I feel offended when somebody calls me a cisgender.
It is offensive to me. Like I'm not a cisgendered man. I'm a man. Like
literally, there's no such thing. Like, okay, we've done this before. So for those of you who haven't been here and haven't seen us go through this, the reason why there's no such thing as cisgendered is because words mean things, and cis as a prefix does not mean anything. Trans as a prefix means something. Bi as a prefix means something. Cis as a prefix does not mean anything. Literally, it's a word that some people made up. And for whatever reason, some normal people, I would think, or normal people, are going along with it. That's literally what the issue is. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, okay. So everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I'm dying on a hill.
That doesn't make any sense.
Because
and then more importantly, a trans woman is a man. It is a biological male. We have to cut the bullshit. Okay, the only way that we can be able to, live with each other and among each other and all of that stuff is if we cut the bullshit. Okay, so again, I couldn't care less if this man thinks he's a woman. I care if this man then goes into my daughter's locker room. I care if this man then goes into the bathroom with my wife. I care that, I care if this man is in a woman's protected space. I care if this teenage boy is on the same team as my daughter, volleyball team, basketball team, whatever the case may be. That's what I care about. You know what I'm saying? And so we've got to cut this. I'm disappointed in Malik Yoba. I'm very disappointed in him, and I'm disappointed in anybody else who takes all of this stuff, who takes any of this and puts any kind of credibility behind it. I'm disappointed in you. You're the reason we're here. You were the reason we're here. Because I'm with Kev on this. There ain't no such thing as a cisgender. Because if we're really being honest, there's no such thing as a transgender. Because you can't actually transfer your gender.
Yeah,
you can't actually do that.
And for my pretty girls guy, which I will say she's a fantastic person. Fantastic,
absolutely, I'm sure she is.
Influencer and all of that. I just like I guess the thing for me is like the way we've moved in the last couple years, because I like, even taking away, like I don't personally agree with transgender. However, I can tell you 10 years ago I knew what a transgendered person was, like, because I had heard that before. We literally did not get introduced to cisgender until 2020, 2021. Like, so like it is it's a brand new concept that, and again, if you've not been with us, Rich broke down like all of the things like that exist that are outside of just male and female, or like heterosexual and homosexual. Like there were like 40 different flags for like things that, you know what I'm saying, like people just, it's like I don't feel like I belong here, so I'm going to create a, you know what I'm saying, something else. It's how in Christianity we got to denominations, because like somebody said, oh, I don't agree with what's happening with the Catholic Church, so I'm gonna break off and I'm gonna be Baptist. I believe in God, but I do it this way. And then somebody didn't agree with Baptist and they made Methodist, and then somebody didn't agree with Methodist and it became African Methodist and United Methodist. And like, so it's like we're just not agreeing, so we're doing something different. Like, but literally the like cisgendered part doesn't come into existence until the last couple of years, and it's because they like, I don't want to be relabeled. I knew who I was and have always been. I'm a man. I'm not I'm not a cisgendered man. I'm a man. You're not a cis woman. You're a woman. Like, and
you should be proud of that. And you should be proud enough of that to not allow a man to claim that he's one of you.
And because that's like the biggest thing. Like, men are walking away with women's awards, women's positions, women's like claims to fame. Like, men are
doing it better. They're doing it better.
Men are being honored for women's positions, women's things. That's not okay for me.
Like, even up as high as the government. Like, we're not even talking about like just general stuff. We're talking about as high as the government. And I think a couple of days ago, some other country, it was a man that won the Miss Universe. Like, legit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a biological man. I'm trying to figure out how a biological man is more beautiful than a woman, and more beautiful as a woman than a woman.
I mean, and he's legit asking. He's
serious.
Legit. Legit
because I've seen, I saw her and I saw the contestants. I saw the contestants and I saw the winner, and I'm like, who voted for that?
Wow. Yeah.
Foul. Super foul. All right, we got to move on. Oh, wait. Okay. Yeah. He jumped on the 17-year-old girl in Dallas, had the bricks beat off him by all the guys in the neighborhood. True.
and to her point, I actually am with you. I'm all for people believing
same here.
what they believe. When it starts to find its way into like these spaces where now what you believe takes it takes an honor away.
It takes precedence.
It takes precedence.
Precedence over.
Right.
Think about it.
No woman of the year should be a naturally born man, because now you're taking an honor away from a woman who's been a woman all her life. So believe what you believe, but that should not take away from what a woman has always been. Find your own lane. That's my message. Just find your own lane. If we're gonna do the transgender thing, give them their own lane, but don't take away from what a woman has always been.
Yep. And don't be lying about it to the kids. Don't put them in what should be women's protected spaces. We're talking about transgendered women, trans women, right? Who were allowed entry into women's prisons, and suddenly women are turning up pregnant. I wonder why. We got to do better protecting women.
UFC.
Women, you have to do better stepping up and being like, no. You pick your lane. That's cool. You leave us out of it, because if we're being honest about it, you're the one with the issue, not us. We don't care. We never did until you started pushing it on us.
Look what happened when they got in the UFC.
Yeah, man, gave that poor girl a concussion. Fallon Fox.
Quick and easy.
Because he has man.
Quick and easy.
Yeah.
Quick and easy.
We covered a couple weeks ago the men's soccer team against. There was a men's soccer team overseas against the women's U.S. national team. They played 3 games. And they had a final score total of 24-1. Stay in your lane. It's okay.
Listen. That's all I'm really saying, though. It's listen. Again, if that's what you believe and that's your reality and whatnot, that's fine. But I got to draw the line at when you try to make that the reality for all or the norm for all, or even for I've met some racist people, whether all colors, everybody, right? I've met them, and I'm just like, you know what? You gonna be who you gonna be anyway. You're not gonna call me what you think you're gonna call me, right? Because even if you do, guess what? Hey, if you do, I'm not responding. I'm not wasting my energy. I'm not gonna change me for you so that you feel better, so that you get a high off of being racist, or that you get a high off of living in your truth. My thing is just stop pushing it onto me. If you're gonna be you, be you. But in that video when he was like, "Oh, get it right. Oh, learn your but." Nah, that's you. That's your reality. I'm not a cisgender man. I'm a man. That.
And even
so that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So even to take it out of that space, Rachel Dolezal or whatever she is, when she identified as a Black person, she was granted access into spaces that she would not have been had she not been identifying as a Black person. She took away positions and time and power and whatever from actual Black people because she chose to identify as that. But in the same space, she missed the hardships of Black people. Because she could still pass for what she was, a white woman. So you're getting to choose when you want because it's convenient. There are so many things. You know what I'm saying? It was a story about a man who identified as a child, a baby, a toddler, and slept in diapers and all of them. You get to choose when it's convenient to not connect to real life. And that's a dangerous place to be. It's a slippery slope to be in. I identify as a person with no bills. However, if I don't pay my bills, I'm gonna be homeless. My phone gonna be off. My lights gonna be off. I don't get to pick and choose when I'm going to like be in reality and when I'm not there. Like that's just a wild place to be.
This is why you don't affirm mental illness. You help mental illness. You help them. You know, work with them and whatever, but you don't affirm it. Like I'm just saying, somebody that's a schizo or something or whatever, insert whatever it is. Under no circumstances do you say is the treatment for that. Yeah, go with that feeling.
Flam tap.
You know what I'm saying?
Flam tap. You think all sports should be co-ed? So you wanna see women in shoulder pads lined up against a 350-pound offensive male lineman and expect to have equal results? That's
I'm
flam
saying.
tap. Flam
I'm
tap.
saying if trans women are women, then.
But I'm saying people,
you know, that
who are,
too, and you know, and if Mulan can beat up Sean Yu and throw him around and stuff, you know,
but
120-pound woman, 300-pound man.
But I'm just saying, like we know because there are women like flag football leagues and stuff like that. If you line them up with the Kansas City Chiefs, I guarantee you some women are going to die that day.
Yeah, probably.
So like all sports are not meant to be co-ed. I can understand. Like I can wholeheartedly agree. There are maybe a couple sports that could be co-ed. Football is not one of them.
Yeah.
Grown men are getting hit by other men and catching CTE. You think a woman who is biologically built to be weaker can take a hit from a 250-pound linebacker?
Going full speed.
Full speed?
Going full speed.
Coming over the middle?
Looking to take your head off because all he sees is a helmet and you know what I'm saying? A figure with the ball. If you ever played defense under that helmet, you know that's all you see. Right. You see the wrong color jersey and the wrong size helmet. You gonna knock that son bitch out.
Flam Top was being sarcastic. All right, my bad.
Yeah, of course.
This is why they say don't text too much. You got to pull context from text messages. My bad. All right, that's
you gotta put the quotations in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of liquor in the room. You know, a lot of liquor in the room.
Oh man! All right, we're gonna be here all night. Let's. I think I'm gonna save these for next week. These
cool.
Pharaoh Files.
Cool.
Let's move on to the main crux of this one.
The main thing.
Man, this is gonna be interesting. We talking about the main thing. All right, anyway. Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. We're gonna talk about putting respect back on marriage and relationships. We've talked about these kinds of subjects a few times, but this has a little bit of a different vibe and a different flavor from it. So get your glasses ready, get ready to pull up and talk some trash with your boys. Here we go.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them. End quote.
This guy hit on me, right? So he came up to me and he was like, hey, what's up? You married? I'm gonna try to talk like a DC guy. Well, no, I'm not, because they sound crazy. No offense to all my DC fam. But he said, hey, you married? And I was like, yes. And he said, you happy? He said it like that, like it was like a drop the mic. He was like, you happy? And I was like, no, and the reason why I said no was because, one, I'm brutally honest, and two, I was not happy at the time. But what does me being unhappy have to do with whether or not you have a shot?
What should I do if my man is not worthy of being submitted unto? Now, if he's beating you, if he does not believe in God, if he is in another religion and he is trying to force you to be a Muslim and you're a Christian, or a Buddhist and you're a Christian, we're not talking about this. We're talking about God-fearing men that are imperfect. I'm here to let you know, you still gotta submit.
Treat him like a king. Don't look down on him, otherwise your faith is not speaking to his future. And women, you're not allowed to speak negatively to your man. The Bible says you should be ornamented, not with diamonds and jewelry. That's not a bad thing. but you're meant to be ornamented by a meek and quiet spirit. That means you don't react to everything he says or does. You calm down, farabale. You're in his life to make him happen. And when he happens, he's the head, you are the body. My head has never come into a level of luxury or greatness that my body didn't enjoy more than my head. That's why my body is more than a conqueror than my head. My wife knows that right well.
You still gotta serve him a plate. You still gotta cook. You still gotta give that thing up and give it up well. You still gotta clean the house. The Bible didn't say submit unto your husband if he is doing all the things you want him to do. It didn't say that. I'm sorry to let you know that.
Here's the thing I realized. A lot of married people don't know how to be unhappily married and still not walk away. If you could learn how to be unhappy for a minute, your marriage will last. Because the goal in marriage is not happiness. The goal is to build a lasting relationship that withstands the ebbs and flows of marriage, of relationships, of people.
But let me give you some encouragement. The more that you put your eyes and you set your gaze on the Lord and asking him, help me to be content in this position. Because God, quite frankly, I feel used. I feel like he is not worthy of me giving this thing to him. He is not worthy of this plate. He is not worthy of me affirming him, and he ain't even asked me how my day is. The more that you begin to have these conversations and you say, Lord, help me to know the beauty of being a servant.
And the truth is that we're looking for your encouragement. If you understand manhood, our mothers brought us up. When they beat me up at school, she patched me back up and said, you can make it. You're still my handsome boy. She pat me down and told me, go back and give him a fight. You understand?
Tell you why black men are out here and the suicide rates are through the roof. They tear us down when we don't communicate and express our thoughts and feelings and sentiments or our vulnerabilities. And then as soon as we talk and express our thoughts and vulnerabilities, we get our beat and get torn down for that too.
This is so good, and I preach this all the time. You can't change a man by punishing him, taking away your submission, taking away whatever you think is going to change him. If it does anything, it's just going to change him on the outside, and that cycle is going to repeat. But when you do it God's way, God is able to change him from the inside out because you stepped out of the way.
And so some of y'all need to learn how to be unhappily married and still be content and still stay right where you are. Just because I might not be happy right now does not mean I won't get happy later. Learn how to be unhappily married.
The power of a woman is amazing. Don't use it to be a knife. Be a wife.
You have to look and say, who groomed them?
We're sick people. We're working for the future, because working for the present, we ain't making no progress.
Okay. OBKB. Lots of stuff there, man. Hey, let me go ahead and take mine.
Got the club going up on a Friday.
On a Friday.
On a Friday.
All right. So you saw that, you heard that. If you're not married, that's okay, because in my opinion, dating somebody, seeing somebody, this is an audition for marriage. So you got to know what you're about to get yourself into, right? So we often talk about who's bringing what to the table, right? We always talk about who bringing what to the table.
Tables, ladders, and chairs.
Yes, sir. Oh my! Somebody's going through
Definitely a segment. I like it.
So what are y'all thoughts on some of the things you heard? I know it was a mashup of a continuation of conversation. I didn't mean to rhyme, but I do it all the time.
There you go.
I'm actually deferring to the married folk
Boom. And I was hoping that you would, because here's the thing that stuck out to me the most. All right. The thing that stuck out to me the most was when she was talking about being unhappily married. You know, I think that even me, I'm guilty of thinking that you're always supposed to be happily married. You know, when of course, when I, you know, before I was married and when I first got married, I thought, all right, the goal is to always be happy, you know, or to, you know, I got to keep her happy, or, you know, and it's a misconception that you're always going to be happy, you know, period. Like that's not realistic. You're going to have moments where you're going to be unhappy, and you own it and you learn from it. It's like you gotta be in that space and live in that space and be uncomfortable for a little while and understand that's how you grow, and that's how you start to build you know, that relationship, that bond. You know, it's going to last the test of times. And I think that some people might have it, you know, have that misunderstanding, that misconception that it's always got to be this romance, and it's always got to be this happiness, and it's always got to be this, you know, this certain way. Otherwise, if it's not that way, I got to go find that. Listen, if you go looking for something aside from what you already got, you're gonna find it. You're gonna find it. If you go looking for your spouse cheating, you're gonna find something that says, "Oh, here's the evidence," and it's not even really the case. But your mind is now, this one thing is now your evidence. You have to live in that uncomfortable space. You know, if somebody comes up to you, "Oh, you're unhappy. Oh, well, let me take you out of that," and you're gonna believe it. That's a fairy tale right there. Yo, I was when I saw when I listened to that video and she told the truth, like, "Nah, I'm not happy right now." Like, no, I'm not happy right now. "Oh, well, let me," you know, and somebody's talking some game to you, like, "Oh, well, let me, you know, I could be that happiness for you, blah, blah, blah." Whoa, pause. Like, just because I'm unhappy right now doesn't mean that, you know, that means I'm a drop my wife, or for you ladies, right? Drop my husband and go with you. Like, what some people don't realize is that as soon let's just say you do, right? You drop what you got now, when you drop your 80% for this 20%. But what happens is this 20% doesn't equal the 80% that you lost. Because that was just a feeling. That was just they made me feel good for right now.
Yep. Mr. Right Now.
The math ain't mathing. Like listen to what people are actually saying to you. Like, so you willing to mess up my current marriage in order to do what? You gonna be the one? Like, because how we start, if this is how we're starting, I mean, what's to say you're not gonna do the same thing while we are together?
Yep. You know, I once had a friend, once upon a time, who got with this woman who was ending their marriage, right? Knocked shorty up, married her, and of course, subsequently, she ended up doing him real dirty. Cheated on him with multiple dudes. Dudes he knew, dudes he didn't know. You know. So, and the thing about it is, I remember this is why he was a friend once upon a time, because I can't associate with people that make poor life choices like this. When he came to me and he said, yeah, I'm gonna marry this one. I'm gonna ask this one to marry me. My question to him was, are you sure? Are you sure? He asked me why, and I said, well, she's still married. She's with you. What makes you think she won't do the same thing to you? Subsequently, of course, she ended up doing the same thing and worse. So this is why I say some of these things are an audition. Like, you people don't change but so much. People don't change but so much. You gotta pay attention to those signs. My bad, I didn't even cut you off, bro. My fault.
Nah, you good. You good. You know that I was that you came in right at the end. That's what I had to say
okay.
about.
Yeah. All right,
word,
so
word.
boom, right on the single dating side, I'll say this looks a lot like expectations going into a relationship. And that we hear all the time about red flags. Everything is red flags. Oh, what's a red flag you look for? This is a red flag. And people confuse red flags for imperfections, and those are not the same thing. Like if I'm dating you, we're getting to know each other. And in the getting to know each other process, I can guarantee you, like 100%, Charles Barkley guaranteed that I'm going to make a mistake in the getting to know you process because I don't know you. So like something that could be triggering to you it's not a deal breaker. It's an opportunity to learn more about you. But people are so quick to say, oh, they made one mistake. That means they not blah, 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 blah. And they're ready to cut you off. They're ready to ghost you. They're ready to out you on social media off of that one mistake. Like we're missing genuine opportunities to get to know good people simply because we don't allow space for grace. And Trey, get the buzzer ready. Like this is why we tell people that they need God and therapy, because like you absolutely have to understand that in the process, even if you're married, that mistakes are going to happen. And I'm not saying that there aren't non-negotiables, because there are. Like you cannot punch your girlfriend, your spouse, your wife in the face and expect them to be okay with you punching them in the face. That is a super red flag and a non-negotiable. But if I forgot the anniversary of the first time that we held hands, like that's a like I'm just saying, like, and I know
toxic.
It's toxic. It's extreme. It's wild. So like if that's your guide for whether or not we should still be together anymore, like you got to check yourself at the door with your unrealistic expectations. Like that's an opportunity for growth. Let me know that the date that we first held hands matters to you, and then see what I do with that information, because now I know that moment is important to you. Whereas it, like, while it mattered to me, it might not have been the most important thing. It's not like forgetting your birthday.
Yeah.
It's not like getting, you know what I'm saying, our
anniversary
first
or something.
Anniversary, you know what I'm saying? Like real milestones. But if that matters to you and you let me know, then I can do something with that. So I think, like, even in the, you know what I'm saying, in the dating realm, people don't allow spaces for grace and opportunities for growth. We are literally expecting people to show up with it all figured out, even though they know nothing about you. We're expecting them to know everything about you and just assume that we're going to operate in that way. And that's wild. That's wild.
You know, you're right, man. And I'm gonna hit the God and therapy buzzer in a second. But you brought up a very good point. This is why I say it's an audition, because, if you're making, when you marry somebody, you're making the commitment to take them and everything that comes with them, you and them, for the rest of your life. Like, at least back in the day, the vows used to be something along the lines of, for better or for worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, keep yourself only to them, till death do you part. Right? Those vows mean something. I think now people like to write their own vows. I wrote my own vows. My wife wrote hers. We had a nice little exchange and all that. But Deficient still went over those vows after that because that's the important part of marriage, right? So you dating somebody, you with somebody. These are all auditions before y'all get married, right? At least it should be. It should be. At some point, it's like, what are we doing? Like, seriously, we gonna move this forward, or we just, exclusively shaking sheets for one reason or another. You know what I'm saying? Let's call it what it is, right? So, but yeah, we don't put often the same value on those vows as much anymore. So the thing that stuck out to me was it's kind of the same thing, Rich, what you were saying, being unhappily married, or the notion that, and this is my favorite one, the notion that your man is no longer worth submitting to, or he wasn't worth submitting to in the first place, or men in general aren't worth submitting to, right? That means, again, I'm just saying, that means you already out of order. You already out of order. Okay? In order for there to be a leader, there has to be submission. Right? Otherwise, you just going your way and I'm just going my way. And hopefully we're going in the same direction, but we may or may not be. Like, so there has to be a level of that. And so I don't think he's worth submitting to, but I married him. Well, why did you marry him? Why would you marry a man you're not willing to submit to? Why would you not? If he's messing up, why would you not allow? Again, you're married. Y'all ain't boyfriend and girlfriend. This nigga ain't carrying your books to the locker. You know what I'm saying? We married. If he's got to grow. Sometimes we got to grow. Sometimes y'all got to grow. Most times we have to grow together.
I think all times. I think
all times. Yeah, all times. Well, I'm sorry. I mean, at a specific thing. In one specific thing. But yeah, you're right. We have to grow together at all times. You're right.
Because I get what Trey's saying. It's like, we have to have our own separate lives. Right. Because I'm gonna have my friends. She's gonna have her friends. Right. It's never gonna be, and together all the time, every time, and gotta have the same friends, the same married friends, no single friends. Like, I get, you gotta have your personal space. So I get what you were saying, Trey. I get what you were saying there. But to Kev's point, yes, we're still growing, together.
Yeah.
So
and again, when you're married, we ain't dating. This isn't a date. This is, like I said, I'm not carrying your books. We're not going steady. We are married. You know what I'm saying? Right? And we need to put more, I think people need to put more respect on that, more emphasis on that. I think we've talked about this a few times over this season. The idea of, starting families with people that you wouldn't marry. Why would you do something like that? Right? Like, and I'm not knocking anybody. I'm guilty myself, right? But you got to think about that. Like, why start a family with somebody? Why would you want to start a family with somebody you're not going to marry, or you don't want to marry, or something like that, right?
But we got answers.
Oh, we got answers? Is it time to hit the button?
I'm saying we got answers because people feel pressured.
True.
And don't know how to stand on their own convictions, and don't have a sense of like self-worth, I'll call it. Like, because if you are sure of yourself, you don't go into those positions and places and spaces, because like how important that is. And so, like, if you're lacking in some places, you're bound to make mistakes. And that, I mean, like, you don't. Yeah, you're bound to make mistakes. I'm not about to back off of that. You're bound to make mistakes. If you go into something lacking your own confidence and your own understanding of what you need, you're bound to make mistakes.
Yep.
Mistakes are inevitable. It's the grace part, like Trey said earlier. Like, you know, I think it's I always keep going back to the culture that we're in. The culture that we're in doesn't allow for the grace. It's, you know, you gotta be this perfect individual, but then at the same time, I don't really know what that individual looks like because my mind changes and blah 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 blah, right? And so there's this like this chaos, you know, of you are attaching yourself to what culture at the time is telling you what you need, but you haven't really gone deep inside your heart, like what you really want. Like, because here's the thing. Let's just take the female role for a second, where in female role, but listen, we're gonna go down this road. All right, so you're a strong, independent woman, right? You want to be the leader, you want to take charge, this and third, right? You get with this guy, but your characteristics don't allow space for him to be a leader, and he's not. But at a certain point, you're expecting him to become this leader, but he was never that. He wasn't taught that. He wasn't. That's not his MO. He doesn't know how to do it, right? But all of a sudden, you want him to be that. Like, you wanted to take your break from being the leader, and all of a sudden you just expect that. Oh, be a man.
Well, I'm gonna say.
So I'm just saying, like, you gotta. So I'm just saying, you really got to know yourself. You got to know what you really want. You really got to know what you want. You got to define that. Write it down. Like, come on. Like, you really got to know what you want, because you can't expect to be with somebody in the beginning, and this is who you chose in the beginning, but then all of a sudden you change your mind, and the other person, the other party has to be okay with you changing your mind and change themselves because you change your mind, and automatically know that role. And then again, it goes both ways, right? It goes many ways. There's many different stories where, you know, there's all kinds of different stories where somebody was some way and they got with the person because they were this way, and then now they want to be a different way, and it's all changed up now. Like come on. It definitely all starts with you know, communication. That's got to be like I say it all the time. I feel like on every podcast, communication.
Facts. Wax on, wax off. All I'm gonna say is I don't think a leader is not gonna waste time leading what won't be led. A good leader will not waste time leading what won't be led. This is gonna go find what will be led at whatever level they're at. So you can grow with that. You can grow with them or not. It's fine. But that's also why, you know, probably important things like, you know, merging bank accounts and, you know, lives, creating lives and stuff like that, merging lives. That's probably, you know, why I understand, I think, why older people would tell us when we were growing up that, you know, you should avoid those things. You know, and I'm sure I sound like some of y'all grandparents right about now, and I understand that, but I'm only saying that because I lived through it, and I watched some of my brothers live through it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, so just saying, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Just take some things into consideration before you take those next steps. We don't have a lot of time to get into what those things are. Like Rich said, you got to kind of define a lot of those things for yourself, right? In my opinion, as marriage, and I've said this before, marriage's foundation is found in the Bible. So in my opinion, what you should look for in a husband or a wife, or what you should aspire to be as a husband or a wife, is in the Bible. Just saying, right? And I don't mean you walk around with the prayer hands all day either necessarily, right? Like, ain't nobody looking for that. That's a sermon for another time. How actually that kind of stuff is condemned, but that's a conversation for another time. All right, and people walk around thank you, hallelujah, thank you all the time. They got a whole sermon in their voicemail. I'm just saying.
Thank you,
all right.
Jesus.
I ain't finna get into all that, but reach out to God, reach out to therapy. Let's do it. It's time.
Call
that
it.
was wild. Why did it? What?
We live. I don't know.
For some reason, the clip wanted to play twice. I don't know why.
Oh.
And y'all actually made it back right on time too, which was dope.
All right. I didn't know it played twice, but
yeah.
Live.
All right.
It's all good. It's all good.
Give me a number 1 through 4.
3.
Cool. Deeper connect.
Here we go.
That's where we gotta go.
So let's introduce this real quick. Go ahead, Kev, since you're about to read the card off.
All right. So what we have, and I freaking love this because as I'm embracing like what it means to like be single and appreciate a lot of things for myself. This is called Dating Connect. It's a psychology deck of cards. Well, it's 4 decks. Decks, not dicks. I just want y'all to know we're grow up. All right. So deeper connection, icebreakers, exploration, and self-reflection. So you start with self-reflection to get to know yourself. Y'all are still on dicks. I know it. You start with self-reflection to
hopefully the ladies anyway.
To get to know yourself. You go to icebreakers as you begin dating, and then explorations and deeper connection to just like, and it's a ton of questions and statements. It gives you red flags to consider. A lot of those different things. And actually, this deck Deeper Connect, we haven't really gotten too much into. So I'm really gonna pull a card at random, and we're gonna hope that it lines up with where we are. So how is your love maturing over time? How is your love maturing over time? Deeper connection.
Ooh. How is your love maturing over time? Growing.
And as y'all continue to think, because we're having this discussion around like just the ability, showing grace and the ability to make mistakes, and being unhappy at points in time, but that not affecting the bigger picture and all of those things. That's what we're discussing for those of you who are just joining us. So I think this, the cards never fail us. How is your love maturing over time? Shot time.
Yeah, actually. You want to go in first, Rich? Go ahead.
So, that's a great question, because I think I already know there's levels to it all, right? There's levels to it, and in the beginning, there's like the butterflies, and there's all these like hopes and dreams and all these ideas and what you think it is, and then boom, reality hits in, and now you really gotta you better duck, and now reality hits in, and it's like oh, what do I
Y'all
do
say hi to
here?
my
It's like,
sister-in-law. Yeah, everybody say what's up.
it's like, what? Hey, she's in the building. What's up? Right? Then
She forgot a lighter. What kind of pothead forgets a lighter?
It's like the fight or flight moment. It's the fight or flight moment with this love, right? And so for me personally, I'm a fighter. And so for me, it's been fighting to grow, to stretch what I already think that I believe, or what I think that I know, and I'm stretching myself and I'm growing, in this love, and making sure that I always check up on her love languages, and things of that nature. Like, it's I recognize the adolescence type of love, that I had, and now it's like that's probably why the unhappily part of marriage that we had talked about sticks out the most, is because the fairy tale it sounds great and all, right? That it's supposed to be happily ever after, but no, this is like really the meat. We are working, like this relationship is growing and the bond is growing stronger because we are going through a lot, a lot, like life, life in, having a child, added to the family, or deaths in the family, and the different challenges of work and living situations, and moving, and just the different things of life, right? That's the fight of it all. That's the fight of the love. And then the other part that people don't really talk about is the challenge to make the decision to be faithful, make the decision to stay in it, because your wife is getting hit on, you are getting hit on, like the temptations that are out there and whatnot, like all of that is a part of that growth, it's a part of that journey that you're on. And so I feel like my love is maturing, well, because I'm on that. Me and my wife, we're on that path, when we're doing our best to communicate with each other and make sure that, hey, what are you struggling with? What are the things? Well, we're asking those different questions. I think that right now, my love maturity is like is I would say it's that it's I don't want to say, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I want to say it is definitely up there, like ready for the next level, ready for the next level.
Toot that thing up.
And and that's what we communicate. That's our goal, though. Our goal is to continue to build with each other, to grow with each other, to because we want to have something great. We want to have something everlasting. We want to we're not here for the necessarily happily ever after, but we are here for that bond. That's like it's the ride or die. It's me and her to the end. It's like we got us. We gonna make, hey baby, we gonna make it. We gonna make it. We gonna make it. She know what it is. She know what it is.
You love to see it. Love to see it. To piggyback on that, because it's pretty similar for me too. Maturity has been slowing down and taking the time to appreciate the moments, appreciate the time that we get to spend together, appreciate the watching our kids grow up, You know, taking time to enjoy that. I will say that that was something that even when we got married, I struggled with. It was go go go. We got to go get this bag. We got to go get whatever. We got to go get it done. People counting on me. People need me. I got to be there, right? And over the years, it's no shade to anybody. It's just been a choice that I've made to, you know, be here with my wife and be here with my girls, with my kids, and be available and present for them more than anybody else. A whole lot more, like substantially more than anybody else, right? I like being in a position where my wife is saying, "Hey, you haven't gone out in a while. What if you hang out with the bros and you talk to them in a while? What's up? You know what I'm saying? Like you don't feel cooped up or anything, right? I like that as opposed to the opposite that I've experienced. Oh, you always out. You always out with the bros. You always out with at the bar. I always see you in pictures and da 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 da. So I will say that just kind of taking the time to just enjoy the person that I made vows to be with for the rest of my life. And enjoy, the family that we're growing together. And listen, was it last week or the week before? Kev, I think you had mentioned like, what can I do better for you, or what is it that you need me to do, right? Asking that question of your spouse, or those of y'all in the dating world, whoever it is you're serious about, what is it that I can do for you, right? And I've asked that question. I asked that question of my wife, and she answered it, and she told me the things that she needed, and I said, okay, right, and it's go time, because happy spouse, happy house. See what I did there? I did not say happy wife, happy life. I didn't say that. I said happy spouse, happy house. Because make no mistake about it, my wife also has an obligation to keep me happy too. I'm just as obligated to keep her happy as she is to keep me happy, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and there are needs that I have. I'm saying there are needs that I have that need to be fulfilled, and there are needs that she has that need to be fulfilled. Okay, and I'm just saying, and it may or may not include filling in full, if you understand what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Anyway,
we're simple creatures. We're simple creatures.
I'm a simple creature. I'm a simple man who wears a size 13 shoe. I'm playing. But hey, size 13. Let's go. All hail 6'9".
All hail 6'9". Quad squad in the building.
If you know, you know. But I'd say definitely that's been the maturity factor for me. Like I'm not concerned about a lot of things. My wife is my safe space. I'm her safe space. And I look forward to that. I work from home now, but when I was out working 12, 13, and 14 hours a day, y'all remember that. When I was out doing that, the thing I could always look forward to was coming home and frankly smoking a blunt with my wife. Right? Like straight up. And that's what kind of helped me to appreciate, like, hey, just relax and enjoy this moment. I could sit here and stress about stuff, but why? That's not what this is for. And she's my peace. She's supposed to be bringing me peace, right? And that's what she did. So I allowed that. And it's a beautiful thing. Peace is good. Value peace. Men, by the way, ladies, men value peace and respect over love and your box.
So bring that peace over here, babe. Oh.
But if you give us peace and respect, I promise you, we will love your box.
All right. Is it my turn?
Go ahead, kid.
All right. So again, single man is how I file my taxes. How is your love maturing at the time? For me, it's quelling the jealousy. like I approached love young in a very immature way. So my like my love was controlling without being controlling. Like in that space where you like you think you have it all together, but like you still have the reins on your partner. And now I view love as allowing freedom. So and I've seen the movie before, but like I looked at it in a whole new way. Hall Pass. If you've seen the movie Hall Pass, the premise of Hall Pass is that the wives gave their husbands a hall pass. They were marriage free for a week's time and like while people looked at it as, oh, that means they can go cheat. No, no, no. That like the premise of Hall Pass was that they had the opportunity to make choices for themselves. And so for me, like where I am now, my partner has the freedom to choose all the time. And I would hope that every day when your feet touch the floor, that you would choose me, knowing that I am the person who is going to keep you safe, knowing that I am the person who's going to pray for you, knowing that I am the person who cooks meals, who rears my kids, who, what I'm saying, like contributes to society, who has stellar things about me, my musicianship, my like, I'm, take care of my body. I get in the gym. Like, I would hope that you would choose me every day. And so like I used to be jealous to the point where I had to know what you were doing all the time and who you were with and why you were with them and like that kind of thing. I never want to be in that space again. So like for me, maturing love means literally giving you the freedom to choose. And if you go out and whatever, like that's something that you have to live with. That's something that's going to eat at your conscience. That's something that karma is going to bring back to you, whatever. But what I can say for me is that I've poured everything I was supposed to into our relationship. I've done everything that I can to support you, to encourage your dreams, to like just be there for you in that way. So like for me, that's really the thing. Like I am not the jealous, overzealous, controlling type anymore. My love has grown to the point where I do know at the end of the day what is best for you, because God speaks to me in a way about my partner that I can see those things. But you ultimately, much in the way that God gives to us, you have free will to make choices for yourself. If you choose to be here, you're going to be safe, you're going to be treasured, you're going to be valued, you're going to get everything you need. If you choose to be other places, you've got to deal with everything that
comes from that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like for me, that's the way that my love has matured over time. It's just being secure. And again, I hate talking about the table, but I'm secure enough to know what it is that I bring to this proverbial table. And I'm secure enough to know that if you choose not to sit and dine with me at that table, that's on you and not because of something that I did.
Facts.
Yeah, big
Facts.
facts. Big facts.
Facts. That's really how your table, whoever you are, that's how your table should be looked at, right? I mean, I know a lot of times we kind of, when we say, what do you bring to the table? It's kind of a general thing, right? But in the end, you just made another great point. It's about what you bring, what you want at your table, right? And I'm sure there are some things that, like you said, there's some non-negotiables. There are going to be some things that you will not tolerate, I'm sure. But I won't tolerate it just means that you can do whatever you want, just not here. I used to tell in the when I was a manager at stores, I would leave it at that. At different stores, I would tell them, like, I'm not telling you I'm going to fire you. I'm telling you you can't work for me. Right, so you can go work for somebody else. You can go to another store. You can go to another. You can talk to my boss and have them transfer you. You can do whatever you want, but your ass ain't going to work here. So, and I think it's in a sense it's the same way. Obviously, the tone is going to be different when you're talking about your spouse, but in the end, it's like, look, this is what I'm gonna provide. This is how I'm going to protect you. This is how I'm gonna pray. This is where the direction I'm going to take. That I see my family going in, right? And you either down for that, and if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Rapid fire. That's the words. Those are the two words. We got rapid fire for you. So. All right. All right. Yeah, I didn't know those were the two words that we had for you. Good stuff. Good conversation, fellas. Let us know in the comments, man, what y'all think about that. We definitely will likely continue conversations along these lines because it's a long road and a lot of different scenarios. We don't have all the answers, but we got a lot of different perspectives. That's for sure. We definitely got perspective. And I think that's how you solve these problems. So
educationally based.
Yes. Yeah. not just general anecdotes.
Yeah, people be talking, talking about people.
All right. Let's get to this first topic. We're gonna run through these rapid fire joints, man. Wow. 4 minutes. Here we go.
Fucking kill y'all, man. Get fired on these bitches again. Got a pool, or got paid out from a pool of $30 million from the Women's World Cup. The men would draw from a pool of $400 million, okay? $400 million, $30 million. Why is that? It's because the Men's World Cup generates $6 billion in revenue. The Women's World Cup generates $131 million in revenue. If you want to talk about pay disparity, the Women's World Cup players get paid out 20% of the total revenue. The men get paid out 7%. As a percentage point, they are getting much more. The problem is, for anybody desiring equal pay, and by the way, I think equal pay is a ridiculous concept in and of itself. If the women generate more revenue, they should get paid more than the men. Don't strive for getting the same, strive for getting what you're worth. And if you're worth more, then get more.
Like I'm not
against
like
women anyway.
No,
they are
I'm
against
not,
women.
I'm saying for it, like that's not even a joke for what like for the pool. USA women are performing better than USA men. So like
word.
It's
just
that against other women.
Comparable. I'm saying comparable
competition. Absolutely.
So but for comparable competition, the women are performing better than the men.
Agreed. So they also have to figure out a way to get more eyes on.
They just got to get more revenue. They just have to figure out a way to get more revenue.
Not trying to be funny. I blame women.
Yeah, seriously. Like the ladies, y'all don't go to the games. Y'all just sit there and bitch and moan about how we don't go to the games or we don't pay you enough. Like y'all go to the games and you'll see the revenue skyrocket. 20,000 screaming ladies at the top of their lungs going off about the soccer team or the Chicago Sky.
Listen, if you bring the ladies, the men
will follow.
We learned that in college. The reason why they let ladies into clubs for free is because they understand that men will come and they will open up their wallets.
Hello. So ladies, we're telling y'all, hey, Brittany Griner, Kelsey Plum, all of y'all. All right, all of y'all. We telling you right here. How y'all get paid more is you get more women to show up to the games. If more women show up, the fellas will show up. Get more women involved, then the fellas will get involved. Instead of trying to do the other way around. It's not gonna work. Doesn't make any sense. Or figure out a way to collect the alimony check like the women's soccer team did. As we just saw, the men pull from a bigger pool, but only 7%. And somehow, I believe this past Olympics season, when they advanced to the next round and generated more revenue, the women's soccer team got paid. So shout out to the alimony check. You're welcome.
I'm just pushing for them because they're doing better than the men.
Shout out to you, man. Listen, figure out a way to get more revenue, get paid more if you're worth getting paid more.
Gotta do that. Gotta do that. Two things.
Figure out a way to get paid more.
Two things can be true.
They can be better. Absolutely. So, all right, cool. What we got now? Oh, this gonna be fun.
Bring it. Let's see. What is it?
Get fire on these bitches one time, man.
What you meant? By the blood in the street. What you meant? That this place doesn't survive. What you meant? On you covered child. Watch me, whose blood built this with sweat and their hands. Watch me, but you die in this place, and your memory. Watch me. Oh, say does this truth hold This is not the land of the
All right, hold on, Rich. I got to bring you back. I wasn't sure what happened to you.
All right, we got Rich back in here. All right, while he pulls Rich back
in the game,
because I know we're like I'm already fully prepared that we're not going to agree with this.
Go, kid, go.
I want to give some context though. If you like have followed this, because like I know this resurfaced because she performed it again, but this is not the first time that Jill Scott performed her take on the Star Spangled Banner. She actually wrote this song when she was 19 years old. And for me, like I can wholeheartedly relate, because when I was 19 years old, that was my sophomore year of college, we in Morgan State's choir took a trip to Frostburg to do a concert. We stayed there overnight, and like we just like kind of walked the area while we were, there to perform. And this pickup truck with 3 or 4 white people on it rode by, and they literally spit at me, and I got hit off of the back of the pickup truck at 19 years old. So like for me, my experience at 19 is not what it is at 37. I like hell, it wasn't at 27 what it was at 37. Like my experience at 19 and 27 looked the same. I was faced with racism and hatred and like all of the bigotry and all of the things that you hear about, whether they're deemed like credible or not, because in some instances it is like just you're doing the most, but in some places, like with a 19-year-old experience, it could very well be that. So Jill Scott wrote that song at 19. She just performed it again for this recent, I forget what that festival was. So like I'm not going to discount
like the Essence Festival, I think.
Yeah, so I'm not going to discount her experience, her like, because I live that, and I know what it's like to be spit on, and I know what it's like to be called a nigger with a hard ER. I know what it's like to be like ostracized because of the color of my skin. I know what it's like to have people stop at the door, look at you, and then walk away because you're black. Like I know what that feels like, and I also know the history of the United States of America. So like her feelings are her feelings, whether we like it or not.
that's her experience, it's her thoughts, it's her feelings. So like I'm not taking away from it. I know everybody may not agree with it, but I can't take away from it because I know, like, personally what a lot of those things feel like.
Go ahead, Rich.
Come on, man. God.
Damn, he's muted.
But I didn't start. But I didn't start. But we're
your
gonna
mouth
take one
move.
anyway. Hey, this was for everybody out there as well. Go ahead and so for those that might have joined us late, every time we have a technical difficulty, like as in like somebody being muted and trying to talk, you got to take your shot of whatever it is that you're drinking, whether it's seltzer water, or Stella Rosa Tropical Passion. It's a brandy, and yes, it's by Stella Rosa, right?
Yes,
Which
sir.
is a wine, right? Mostly known for their wines, but they have a brandy. Anyway, I'm gonna take this.
Peace up. A-Town down.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say. Kev, I did not know that she wrote it at 19. I do, believe in freedom of speech. She's expressing herself, about how she feels and whatnot. I have experienced, racism and all of that, and just the whole feeling of not belonging at a certain point. Here's the other thing too, because I heard that, right, the Star Spangled Banner, right, had racism intertwined into it. Well, I mean, at the time that it was written, what was going on? Okay, here's the thing. I'm more concerned with what can bring us together, as a country. Let's stop the divide and let's bring us together. I'm not saying that, I'm trying to silence Jill for doing what she did, saying what she said. I'm just saying, like, I'm more concerned with, like, what can we do to bring us together, as a country, as a people. Like, we're here. And if you're going to remain here, we got to learn how to be here. And how do we progress forward? How do we continue to be, if we claim that we're so great or that we're on top, what I'm saying, we're going to make us great again. If we claim all these things, how are we going to continue? How are we going to grow from here and continue to be on top? And so that's my bigger concern. Do I feel that this might have rubbed some people the wrong way? I mean, yeah, of course it will. But that's also probably the reason why they don't go into some of the other verses of the Star Spangled Banner. So, I mean, I think that she expressed herself, and at this point, I'm not gonna give it too much more energy, but again, my focus is on, how do we get better? How do we start to grow from where we're at? And how do we, I did almost feel like, it was I don't know, in my opinion, pointing of fingers, but I don't, is it a desecration? Is it a, I don't know. I feel like it's an expression, and she had her right to do so, but I don't feel like it brought anybody together or made any real positive impact.
is the longest rapid fire ever. But
I think I left you like 30 seconds.
Yeah. As quickly as I can. I love Jill Scott. I think she's got an amazing singing voice. I think she's incredibly talented. And I'm happy to know, well, I was happy to find out that she was only 19 when she wrote that, which means that one, she hadn't, blown up as big as she did, and number two, her brain hadn't fully developed yet. So this is what I say about that. That is for particularly a black woman in America with a net worth of $12 million. When was the last time she had an album, by the way?
That I don't know.
Right. Still making residuals, to her credit, because she's incredibly talented. She's still making residuals off stuff she recorded in 96 and 97. You know what I'm saying? Up. Hey, look.
Hey, to her credit.
More power to her. That said,
Lauryn Hill didn't.
You said what?
Because Lauryn Hill didn't.
Right. Shout out to her. But Lauryn Hill is also, industry words, lazy. So, you know what I'm saying? But even with that, Lauryn Hill still had a fairly decent measure of success. Like, she ain't exactly working at Walgreens. You know what I'm saying?
She gets to show up late as hell to everything, and people still wait around for it. But
right. So for a black woman who has single-handedly, because I don't believe she is married, and even if she is, her husband didn't accumulate this wealth. So a black woman in America who, single-handedly created generational wealth for herself and her family, to sing something like that, I think is disingenuous and disrespectful. She should be ashamed of herself. At the time, to Richard's point, when the Star-Spangled Banner was written, slavery wasn't just in America, it was everywhere. Right? So, like, if your family came over here in chains, that means your family was over there in chains. Okay? You wasn't taken from your wife and your kids while you was in the house sleep with your mid-level middle management job. That's not what happened. If your ass came over here in chains, you were already in chains over there. Okay? And more importantly, it was something that was happening literally everywhere. Does that make it okay? Absolutely not. But we are well over 150 years removed from that. We've seen success story after success story after success story, and it's foolish to say, well, everybody didn't succeed. Every white person hasn't succeeded. You know what I'm saying? That's not how equality works. Equality of opportunity and equality of results are not the same. We ain't slaves. We have not been slaves for a long, long time, right? Nobody that's alive today has dealt with slavery directly. All right. I'm not saying that there ain't some effects, and we don't still need to grow from that. There's some grace, though, as we talked about earlier, that should also be afforded in this relationship, unless your ass is moving. If you're leaving the country, go for it. But last time I checked, this multimillionaire named Jill Scott is not leaving the country that made her a multimillionaire, in spite of how much she may sing about how you're still a slave. Because I think she also famously said, and I quote, "If you can tell me what to do, then you can tell me what to do. If you can't tell me what to do, then you can't tell me what to do." That sounds like a free person to me. So I reject the idea that a free person with them millions of dollars can tell me or you that we're slaves and we're supposed to be, that we're still slaves and we're supposed to just clap and cheer about that. I reject that idea.
Well, but those are two different conversations. Because she and I saw the clip. If you can tell me what to do, then you can tell me what to do. That's that's a woman saying and I actually don't agree with this stance, but I understand it. That she wants an alpha male who can put her in her place, which is relationship connection whereas this statement about her experiences in this country is literally just that. It's her experiences in this country. And I don't think wealth and the ability to make money like takes us away from hardships that we've had to experience. And I'll use another example. So, and whether we think it's a big deal or not, it happened, and that's something that you have to deal with. It's something you have to explain to your kids. So LeBron James, a billionaire, had racial slurs written on the gates of his property. Now, that may not seem like a big deal to people, but if that's something that your kids come across, like and at a younger age, and even at a teenage, you know what I'm saying, like teenage years and all of that, that's still something that they have to endure. And as a parent, that shit makes me sick to my stomach that my kid has to see nigger, you know what I'm saying, go away, nigger, go back to Africa, shut up and dribble, like whatever it is, they got to see that as a part of their upbringing when they shouldn't have to. So whether we like it or not, whether he's made billions of dollars or not, that's still a terrible like gesture to put on somebody's family. So like there are things happening that are problematic, whether you make $50,000 a year or $5 million a year. It doesn't.
But they're not tantamount to slavery though.
But I'm saying, but like, okay, they're not tantamount to slavery, but they're damning. And like I don't ever want to discount somebody's like feelings about their personal experience. So nothing we deal with now will equate to slavery, but because we haven't had to deal with slavery, the worst thing that can happen to us is the worst thing that can happen to us, because we don't have anything else to compare it to. So me being spit on from the back of a pickup truck is the worst thing that can happen to me. No, it's not picking cotton. No, it's not having whips on my back, but I was spit on off the back.
Does that make you a slave, or does that make America racist, or does that make that guy a piece of shit?
But
it's a racist piece of shit.
It makes that guy a racist piece of shit, but it's also not the only experience that I've had with that. I'm pulled over by police every Friday on the way home, and eventually they stopped and said, "Oh, hey, Mr. Lewis." So before they, you know what I'm saying, before they like realized who I was, they saw a black man. So when you say, "Oh, hey, Mr. Lewis," that's I didn't realize it was you, which means this shit was not okay. You just did it because. So like I'm saying, like everybody's experiences are different. And that doesn't, I'm not about to discount what somebody has to then endure and everything that they have to feel after the fact because of their worst experience. Your worst experience is your worst experience, whether it compares to somebody else's worst experience or not. It's still the worst thing that you've had to deal with.
Yeah, listen. I as like Rich said, I know about some of the stuff the racial encounters he had. He knows about some of the ones I've had. I know about some of the ones you've had, right? Like, you know, we've had those. I still will say that you cannot legislate somebody's feelings, and the whole of the entire country should not be judged off the actions of a few, because if we do it that way, then there are a number of atrocities that all of us could be guilty of. That's all I'm saying. Yes, we all deal with we all have to deal with racist white people, because there is a legacy of racism in this country. There is a legacy of racism in this country. But like we said before, two things can be true. While there is a legacy of racism in this country, we've also come a long way from where we've been, and we'll continue to grow. I think we still got some strides to go, but we shouldn't be sitting here acting like we walking around in chains, crying and hollering and hooping and all that kind of stuff all the time. At some point,
we won't be.
What do you mean we won't be? You won't. What do you mean?
We won't be, because that would be seen as, I mean, come on, that's the apparent, right? I mean, we could look at we've heard it before, right? Corporate America, this, that, and the third, right? This 9 to 5, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
This 9 to 5 is a slave trade. We switch one master to the next master and all of that. It's not going to be.
But everybody's got a job. I don't think that's the same. I can't equate that. Everybody got a job.
Here's the thing though. Because everybody's got a job, but we only got a job to do what? Why do we have a job? We don't. Most people don't have a job because they love doing what they're doing. They have a job because it has been set up systematically that we need to pay rent, that we need to provide for our family, that we need to make a wage in order to live.
I mean, yeah, but that don't mean you can't go start a business in order to earn that wage and then not have to deal with the same stuff as a job. You can employ other people and not have to deal with the same stuff. You have
at the
options.
same time, you gotta have the know-how. That's not what's taught. You gotta have that ingrained. I mean, it's a farming system, so shout out to those that have done it. Shout out to those that have become the American, become the one. We got the internet. And again, but before the internet, what was it?
It was we had before the internet. We had television, we had radio, we had word of mouth.
Before the radio,
you know what I'm saying?
Not even before the radio, but before television. We're saying that now we have no excuses. We're saying that now, but we're not programmed that way. And I'm saying we're like the entire culture is not programmed. And now you do have people that have made millions of dollars off of being TikTokers or off of being YouTubers or off of being, but what does that equate to though?
But also
it's just money.
No,
you
but
take away money.
That doesn't negate racism or anything like that.
There's no foundation there though.
But
there's
even
no foundation there.
Even to that point though, there was a whole a whole story about how there were like white people on TikTok who were making
money off of black people's
off of black content. So like you know what I'm saying? I'm not even trying to be that guy because I'm not that racism is everywhere, but like that's
I was gonna say, is that racism?
But I'm saying if I do the same, matter of fact, not even I do the same thing. If you steal my content, which we saw that with rock music and early R&B and all of that, if you take my song and make millions off of it and sell records off of it, it's what Little Richard talked about. And we saw you know what I'm saying, like the music back in that point, black artists were making that music, a white artist would take it, do the same song, and then make like they got the radio play. They made the money off of it. They stole the content and got paid for it. That's literally what's happening on TikTok. You got black artists who do it well, black TikTokers who do it well. A white person comes, takes that same thing, does it, and they make the money from it. It's something
because they got a bigger following or something like that.
Even that. It's just because like
that's what I'm saying. Like so if it wasn't because they have a bigger following, then how did they end up getting paid off of it and the other people didn't?
Because they stole the content and turned it into something else. Like Kabi, that's his name, Kabi. Like Kabi was not he's literally like had the biggest following, but still was not making as much as Rhythmless Susie, like doing the same kinds of things. So like they are literally taking our content. Now I can't even call it making it their own. They're just repeating it and then making the money off of it. That's something.
But is it racism?
I would say
it's
yes.
Something. No, it's something, yes, but is it racism?
I would say yes.
I would disagree. I would disagree with that. I don't think that's racism. I think that capitalism, yes, capitalism, yes, and we can make an argument, about the goods and good side and the bad side of capitalism. I'll give you that, but I don't see that as racism. And I'll be the first one to tell you, you show me real misogyny, you show me real racism, I will be right there with you, arm in arm, fighting and saying that shit is wrong. But I'm also not going to just say it's racist because they happen to be white people. Racism does actually have a meaning.
So stealing. So what do you call stealing from black people?
Capitalism. I just told you that. It's capitalism because it's the same. It'd be the same thing whether it's from a black person or a Mexican person or anybody else.
No, but I'm saying because you're not just taking from people. Like if like you're literally coming into our culture, taking our culture. Like I'll step outside of TikTok, Bantu knots. So like women have been putting Bantu knots in their hair forever. I forget who, Calvin Klein or whoever it was. They literally had a whole fashion show with Bantu knots. They called it something different, and it went fucking viral. And it was newspaper articles and all of that. Like they literally
That's capitalism.
They denigrated us. They denigrated us for the style of hair, and then said this shit is okay for my fashion show. Like that's more than capitalism. If it's ghetto when we do it, but then you're okay with it for your fashion shows, that's more than capitalism.
Okay, is it ghetto in Calvin Klein's business?
It was ghetto to everyone until Calvin Klein, until whoever said this is what I want for my fashion show, and then all of a sudden it was acceptable. That's something.
Again, we got a difference of opinion on that. I hear where you're coming from, but I don't. That does not seem. That's not racism to me. I don't see that as racism. Capitalists, absolutely. Marketing, absolutely. Unfair, sure, but racist, nah. Racism has a meaning. I don't think that's racist. Now if I'm gonna leave it there. So we can keep on moving. We already late, but yeah, that particular thing I don't see that.
I'm gonna circle back to Jill Scott.
They don't
right?
play black creators. Okay,
here's what I'm gonna say. I guess for me it was more so of what was the point of, like, if you wrote it at 19, I'm just saying what was the point of it now? I guess for me it was, what was the point? And I guess that was my biggest thing, was like, like if we're trying to move forward and we're trying to like bring people together, I guess for me it was more so about what was the point of it.
Some stuff still feels like it. Like, and I get that like if some, and that's, we're talking about triggers, we're talking about deep rooted, you know what I'm saying, stuff. Like if something I see or something I saw at 19, I'm still witnessing at 27, 37, 40, whatever the age may be, like I still feel that. If people connected to me are still having these experiences, it still feels like that. It's not different to me. I wholeheartedly understand the desire to move forward, but I'm also not discounting a person's like personal experiences, whether, again, like I said, whether they make $50,000 or $500,000, like that's their experience. That's what they connect to. That's what they feel. And especially as an artist, like you create for your experiences. Painters paint from their experiences. Poets recite from their experiences. Singers sing from their experiences. Writers write from their experiences. So like I'm not discounting Jill Scott because she made millions. Yes, she made millions, but it doesn't mean she didn't experience hardship. It doesn't mean that when she steps into a studio, she doesn't have to hear somebody's mouth about something. Like that's what and we talked about this. It's rich people problems, but rich people problems can also have race people problems. Like we don't know what's said to her when she steps inside of a booth. We don't know what happens to her when she goes into a studio. We don't know what a label says to her in order for her to get on to a stage, because we know even like those things are like very directed. They, you know what I'm saying? Record labels are like, what sells to young white people? It's who's buying your records. It's what do we sell? So like they're going to talk to you a certain way. So I'm not discounting Jill Scott just because I haven't seen her experiences. What she experienced is her experience. Rich, poor, or middle class, like she's still got to live
whatever's happening to her and take in whatever's happening around her.
And literally, so does everybody else in the world.
So what's
the point?
But
that's also what's happening, though. I mean,
the point is we're discussing this because she has a platform. Everybody does, but so there is a person who has 12 followers on Instagram who says the same thing. We just aren't discussing them because they have 12 followers.
I would. Okay, all right, that's fair. That's fair. And if I found somebody with 12 followers that said that, I would probably tell them the same thing. I'd probably tell them the same thing. You can't. People. There's going to be people that don't like you, that's going to talk shit about you, that don't like you for one reason or another. It could be because of race. It could be because they feel like their job is threatened. It could be because they found out their wife is sleeping with the pool boy. Like, you know what I'm saying? It could be a myriad of reasons. And again, I'm not trying to apologize for anybody that's actually doing racially driven things. That's not okay. But I think that we take a lot of instances sometimes and we say, this person's white, this person's black, there has to be racism involved. And I'm just suggesting that most times it's not. Most times it's not. Now, this is good information real quick before we move on. If the algorithm is favoring white creators, I don't know that to be true or not. I mean, if it is,
now, what I will say is, if anybody knows, that would be the person who knows.
Oh yeah, she said it's her job. Yeah, I'm about to say I don't know what she does, but I did see she said it's her job. So
yeah, that's her without not like 8,000 followers, like tens of thousands, tipping hundreds of thousands.
Word. All right. Well, yeah, I would love more information on that. Like straight up, I would love more information on that because that's news I didn't know. And so if it's something like that where the algorithm is being tricked, yeah, that could be considered a racism thing. That is, unless it's a white demographic is more likely to spend money on certain things than a black demographic. There can also be reasons behind that too. I'm just saying. But she might be right though. She might be absolutely right. So I'll defer.
Longest rapid fire ever.
Let's wrap this shit up, man. It's the last one, right?
Get fire on these bitches one time, man.
Internet, Peaches said, why haven't the Wayans family had an appreciation service? They deserve to be honored real bad. And I agree. So I'm going to give you just some of the highlights of what the Wayans family has brought to American comedy. Let's start with Keenen Ivory Wayans, who made my favorite parody movie of all time, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. This was a parody movie of 70s blaxploitation films. I didn't even watch any of those, but this movie was still hilarious to me, okay? He co-wrote with Robert Townsend, Hollywood Shuffle, and The Five Heartbeats. I mean, those two movies, what they mean to black culture and culture period. Shoot, what's happening in Hollywood Shuffle is still happening today. Keenan's also credited writer on Eddie Murphy's Raw for the sketch, and he produced Eddie Murphy's Raw, which to this day is still the #1 grossing stand-up comedy film of all time. And that's all before we get to In Living Color, which is the greatest sketch show of all time, which gave us the stars Keenen Ivory Wayans, Damon Wayans, Shawn Wayans, Tommy Davidson, David Allen Greer, Kim Wayans, Jim Carrey, Kim Coles, and Jennifer Lopez got her start on there. Wayans was then on In the House. Let's talk about Damon Wayans. He was on SNL for a year, and then he gave us Mo Money with him and Sean. Hilarious movie if you haven't seen it. Wayne had the cartoon, Blank Man, and Major Payne. Okay, Major Payne, we still quote to this day. And then he went and said, let me give you My Wife and Kids. Full sitcom, 4 or 5 seasons. And then he was on Lethal Weapon. All right, now let's talk about Marlon and Sean for just a little bit. One of the greatest parody movies of 90s hood movies, Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood. Boom. Then they went and gave us White Chicks, which threw Terry Crews on the map. Then they gave us the Wayne brothers' whole show, which gave us John Witherspoon in all his greatness, still deserved the final season, and Scary Movie 1 and 2. Regina Hall, still very hilarious in that. Marlon Wayans by himself did the six-man Haunted House. He did his dramatic work, you know what I'm saying? He played that abusive man in that stuff. And you got the next generation, you got the second generation Wayans TV show, which had Craig Wayans and Damian Dante Wayans. Damian Wayans Jr. was on New Girl for like 50 episodes. Happy Endings. Damian Dante Wayans directed Dance Flick, which also starred Damian Wayans. And then you got Shantae Wayans, who's an amazing stand-up comedian who's on Netflix right now. I mean, family. And that ain't even everything. I'd be here for 20 minutes talking about everything. But y'all, we really need to be reminded that the Wayans family tree is deep, it's long, and they are the most important family in comedy. Period. Point blank. Argue me down. Who else got a resume this long? And they still going. Shout out to the Wayans.
That's literally what she did. It's deep and long.
Deep and long?
Deep and long.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We live. Oh,
all day.
Hey,
all right, y'all. 4 minutes for real, yo. What y'all think?
Backstage be wild. I'm trying to tell you.
Especially when it's deep and long.
Hey. All right. Wayans family, are they the greatest family in television? I would say entertainment. Are they the greatest family in entertainment history?
Yes. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Where's the mic? Just
drop it. The stretch of like the
family wise, like what?
The stretch of shows, like I saw a comment that was like, if it's W dot, you know what I'm saying, ANS, which is Wayans and Winans, like that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like in Living Color is so timeless. Like that's the part where I'm stuck. Like in Living Color, first of all, like every member of the family, you know what I'm saying, Sean, Marlon, Keenan, Crystal, Takia, like the whole family, but then they like paved the way for people like Jennifer Lopez got her start from A Living Color. Jamie Foxx got his start on A Living Color.
Jim Carrey, boy,
Jim Carrey, David Allen Greer.
You know what I'm saying? They made way for black people. They made way for white people. Like they made way for dancers, singers, DJs, comedians. Yeah. Like they literally created that spot for everybody. Characters on the show are timeless. Like I was talking to my friend the other day, and I sent her a clip of the like prison phone calls where they were using all the words in the wrong way. Like that shit is funny and timeless today. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Homie the Clown, funny and timeless today. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Wanda, because that's who Jamie Foxx played. You know what I'm saying? Our world. Like funny and timeless today. Like they don't miss. But then when you fast forward to like My Wife and Kids, you jump back to Major Pain. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's so much stuff that the Wayans family touched. Even Marlon as a show, like I still watch it on Netflix, and Marlon brought in other members of his family. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even know where to stop. The My Wife and Kids had Cat Williams on there. Cat Williams had his stint on there. That whole like segmented piece between them was hilarious. Like they're writers, they're producers, they're comedians. They do stand-up comedy, they do sketch comedy. Like they were on Saturday, like Keenan was on Saturday Night Live. Like there's no place that they did not touch. You're not going to find another family whose reach is literally 3-4 decades long. Like it's not happening. It's not happening.
Yeah. And their kids are even in on it now. Like it didn't even stop with them. And the kids are doing the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're on whole new meaning to generational wealth.
Yeah.
Like the wealth is their gifts. It's going to create income, but the wealth is their gifts.
Yep. Shout out to another Black family creating generational wealth in this racist, slave-driven country of ours.
Cut it out.
Oh, man. All right, no, that's it, man. We appreciate all of y'all. Y'all have been wonderful. We appreciate you. As always, man, thanks for coming by. You know, talking trash with us, pouring a couple glasses with us. We went way over time, but that just means we had some good content. That's all that means, man. Kev, what's your final thoughts, man? Take us out, bro.
Because we went way over time, that means I've been drinking way over time. So hopefully you got a good drinking system. We're in a wild time, so I'm gonna continue to encourage everybody to take care of yourselves. Your mental health is important. Like, we're not talking about, well, we're talking about it more in the Black community, but like, you really got to know that your mental health is important. So take care of your mentals, what Marshawn Lynch say. Take care of your mentals and your chicken. All right, be good to yourselves and each other. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Pull up. It's only fun when y'all are in the comments. So have a good night. Drinks are in the air. Still.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Hey, listen, it's not too late. Start now. Let's move. Let's get into it. Let's go. Listen, let's make something happen. I'm glad you joined us. We had a lot of information that was dropped tonight, but the only way we can make it better is that we just get going now and we move and we make it better ourselves. We got to make it better ourselves. It starts with us.
We all learn from each other. The only way we're going to get past any of this stuff is if we have the conversation. I know I said it a million times, but it's the truth. We have to be able to have the conversation, come to the table with information, hear each other out. And sometimes we're going to agree to disagree. Sometimes we're going to shake hands and say, dang, you know what? That's a great point. I'm with you. It is what it is. But we can live together in harmony. Harmony is different notes playing at the same time, still sounding good. It's different notes. Everybody ain't playing the same note. Okay. And that's all right. So we should be able to work in harmony together. And that's really the point of this whole show. That's what we want to do. Further the conversation, continue the conversation, make our communities better, make families great again. Put respect on marriage, put respect on women, put respect on women again. Doggone it, I tell you. Man, so that's really what it is, man. So again, thank y'all for stopping by. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We done. That's it. We out. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Holla at us again next week. One more shot in the air. All that good stuff, man. We'll catch y'all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Peace.
I gotta pee.
And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives.
No, let's talk about it. Put it on the table.
You're not gonna leave me if I cheat on you.
You're stupid.
You're not leaving.
Stupid.
You're not leaving
You're
me if I cheat on you. You're not.
You're stupid.
You're not leaving.
You're crazy.
I've been with you so long.
Okay, try it. Try it. We'll see.
You're not leaving me if I cheat on you.
You're crazy. You want to cheat on me?
You're not leaving me.
Do you want to cheat on me?
I don't want to cheat on you, but you're not leaving me if I cheat on you.
You're crazy. And the thing about it is
I done spent too much money for
I don't give a fuck. That's your problem.
Women rarely get held accountable for their poor decisions. Men do, though. Men have to live in reality. Women are afforded the privilege of being delusional. So when a guy criticizes a woman, oh my God, right? If you don't believe me, think about it. If a dude's fat, we just call him fat. You're a loser, huh? If a woman's fat, love your curves, girl. You go. She's rude and obnoxious. Oh, you know what? They just can't handle you. You're strong and independent, fierce. We have all these terms to cover up female inadequacies, but we don't have these same terms for men.
Nothing else about black women being the most disrespected person in America. I don't want to hear it no more. Because until we ready to address the real tea, which is we disrespect ourselves on a level that's astronomically higher than any other race attempting to disrespect us. We follow anybody with a pink, purple, blue front lace wig on. Our morals and mindset is not the same as our grandparents or our grandmothers, and we done abandoned anything and everything to do with decorum and gentleness and femininity. Like, all of that is just a thing of the past, but then we wonder why we so disrespected. It's a whole fool. The truth is, you get what you give, and before anybody can learn to respect you, you must lay the blueprint of how you want to be respected. disrespected. Ain't nobody taking us seriously when all we promote is turning our tails up in the sky and twerking and shaking it like a skunk.